15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
The long journey is over. McIlroy has his masterpiece.
You know, there were points in my career where I didn't know if I would have this nice garment over my shoulders, but I didn't make it easy today. I certainly didn't make it easy. I was nervous. It was one of the toughest days I've ever had on the golf course. In a funny way, I feel like the double bogey at the first sort of settled my nerves.
Yeah, we all didn't think this could happen. Hey, welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. I think it's one of the biggest upsets that we've seen in sports that Rory didn't choke in this Masters. He completes the career slam. Welcome to the show, Maggie and Perloff. Hey, bro.
He choked 3 times. What are you talking about?
I know he did, but I'm saying he didn't choke in the playoff. I mean, he choked on 18. He had the putt right there to win this thing, I guess, in regulation, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
And then had to go to the playoff, and he was spectacular in the playoff hole, the sudden death hole. I mean, that was a master class, but in some ways, it kind of wouldn't have been a Rory, like, full catharsis if he had just run away with the final round. If he had won this thing by 5 strokes and there was no doubt and he was just leading all through the back 9, I don't even know if it would be as sweet. It'd be sweet because it's been a decade since Rory has won a major, and obviously yesterday was his first Masters.
Yeah,
and
but
courtesy, thank you, CBS, for that sound.
Do you think if you gave Rory a choice, he would definitely take the former? He would love to run away from that. I love that he admitted he was nervous, because that's the best part about this, watching him stand over a putt, knowing the amount of pressure. I don't know if there's anything in sports, there's more pressure, because in other sports, you're running around and you're moving. In golf, you're just sitting there over that ball. And I can't remember a shot with more pressure because of everything that has gone behind it for Rory. I mean, he had to hit that putt on 18, and he just couldn't do it.
Yeah, I think bottom of the 9th inning, 2 outs is the maximum amount of drama that we can have in sports. Like, you know, if tie game or something like that, or to win, because again, there's a stillness about it. You're absolutely right. But golf, you're the only one out there, right? And so you're the one, and you're battling the elements in the course. And the course yesterday got really slick. It was really fast. Bryson DeChambeau really, I don't say he blamed that for how badly he did yesterday and kind of falling back. But this belongs to Rory now. And you know, there's a couple ways you can unpack this. One, was everyone rooting for him yesterday? I'm a little curious about that, because once the train wreck starts to happen and there's a possibility of a car crash, like, we're human beings. Did you almost want to see, like, no way, he can't do this again, right? He can't choke again.
Yeah.
But then when you see the emotion and the tears when he does win it, because at first I was like, wow, I'm just kind of curious, how would this guy even respond if he chokes yet again? But then the catharsis of it, you know, that was a nice thing to witness. Like, you realize how much angst had been pent up.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm not a Rory guy in particular. I seem sometimes a little preachy at times. And also, you know, the Ryder Cup stuff, I totally have no strong opinion one way or the other.
We know you're an Auburn guy.
Yeah, I'm Auburn guy, yeah. No, I'm, but I did, again, I'll admit, I wanted to see him flounder a little bit. I wanted to see it because
you got that when he went into the
I did
bunker.
not want to. All Sunday, I was like, I don't want to see him run away with this. We need some drama. We need some drama. But then I admit, when he dropped on his knees at the end, I was like, oh, thank God. I felt some relief for him. And he was great after the match. That was real emotion, which is all you can ask for.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're asking you this morning, again, a couple different things about Rory. How'd you feel watching it? Because it was tense, even from just, you know, sitting on your couch. And then, was this like the greatest monkey off your back situation that we've had in sports? And we've had a lot of guys who've had to wait around to win their first ones, right? It took Michael Jordan 7 years. It took LeBron James a long time. You know, John Elway, Peyton Manning, guys who felt like they were kind of tortured, like they were destined to win. Rory's was very different because Rory was already a 4-time major champ. It was just that elusive career slam and the Masters green jacket. but he was already known, and he is like one of the great golfers, the face of the tour. He has all of this. So it's a different type of unique torture. And then obviously the choking that goes into it. His own choke at Augusta in 2011, where he had a one-shot lead heading to the back nine and shot a 43 on the back nine. You go to St. Andrews 2022, led by 2 with 9 holes to play. He lost. The U.S. Open, LA Country Club 2023, led by 2 strokes with 5 holes to play, lost. And then last year, in painful fashion at Pinehurst. These are all painful. The U.S. Open, he bogeys 3 of his last 4, misses those short putts on 16 and 18. Bryson DeChambeau wins by 1 stroke, and Rory is seen peeling out of the parking lot. Doesn't talk to the media, and it was like this big dramatic thing, and he didn't speak publicly for like a month after that. So this one felt like one of the biggest monkey off your back moments, but is it the greatest?
I think it's better than the Michael Jordan and LeBron because, Michael Jordan and LeBron didn't come really close to winning a title. I know LeBron made the finals, but he got, swept, I think, by the Spurs.
He did.
And Jordan never won his first finals. This guy was so close, 2011. That is 14 years ago.
Oh, I know.
So in relation to just the Masters, I think this is a way bigger monkey on the back. It feels like Elway, because Elway was at 3 Super Bowls and lost all. He got killed in all 3. It was a little different. But I think this is much bigger than those guys, because Jordan and LeBron, now that I look back, that was inevitable. It was just a matter of a few years they were going to do this. Rory, I felt like it was never going to happen. And even there were moments on Sunday where I was thinking to myself, God, this guy's never going to win this stupid tournament. It is unbelievable. Like, he just cannot. There's so much pressure that's built that he will not be able to hit the closing putt.
Yeah.
Even that last putt in the playoff, I'm like, oh, God, this is
Not
so
a given.
easy.
Not
a given.
No.
Not a given after what happened last year, the tournament you mentioned.
Yeah,
So,
Pinehurst.
yeah, this is one of the all-time, again, because also it's an individual sport, not a team sport. At least there's no one to look at other than Rory. I think this is an all-time monkey off the back. I can't even think. For me, if I was going to categorize this, I need another individual sport where a guy just had all the pressure on him and couldn't do it. Nothing really jumps to mind.
Yeah, I mean, tennis would be another one, but like Andy Roddick eventually won. I mean, and all the greats, like they seem like they stack these, grand slams.
Can you imagine? Yeah, right. Can you imagine if a guy was in the 5th set of Wimbledon 3 times and came up short and never won the tournament? That would be brutal.
Yeah, it just seems like everyone eventually takes their turn. This one, and again, it's a weird one though, because Rory is a winner, but I don't think he was thought of as being. Well, I think it was more about him being a choke artist than it was about him being a winner, quite frankly, until yesterday afternoon.
Yep.
And I
agree.
I think for a lot of people, and I'll put myself there. I said this one time, and it came out sounding so stupid, but you're not a winner till you win. I think that he, will now forever be kind of remembered differently, because it feels like now it was all worth it. All the pain, it meant something. Like you went through all that hardship, but you came out on the other end and you got the green jacket. And by the way, Rory's 35. What does it look like for his career moving forward when he doesn't have all this extra baggage? And he doesn't have all of these bad memories. The most recent one is going to be the best one. The scar tissue loosens up a little bit, I think, once you finally get something like this. And it's not like Ray Bork or someone who just rides off into the sunset. Like Elway came back to win the second one. But this is not the end for Rory. 35 in golf. This dude's playing at least another 5 years, at least.
Oh, my God.
Probably
Phil won
more.
a major at 50. So, especially the way golf is now. But, one thing he did lose was the ability to chase Tiger's major record. Jack Nicklaus's major record.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be tough because there aren't that many guys who've won majors in their 40s. So he'll have to – and also the field is crazy right now. I mean, you still have Scottie Scheffler looming that I don't think it's – I think Rory is – I don't think he goes on a run of like 6 majors, but it feels like he'll get a couple more easily off this because he was dominating coming into this tournament.
Yeah, and that's the weird thing. I saw that someone wrote this yesterday. How could someone so blessed also be so cursed? And that really was like the Rory story until yesterday. I don't think now we're going to look back and the headline is going to be, wow, Rory McIlroy, what an all-time choke job. I think now it's Rory, what an all-time perseverance. Gritty, overcoming it, having to play all those mental mind games with himself, having to reinvent himself and become a different kind of player and put himself in this bubble. And he's talking on Saturday about, I just can't check my phone. I just can't check my phone. Like, he's admitting all of these pressure and pain points that have been there through the past, and now he overcame it. So I'm curious if people think this is the biggest exhale monkey off your back that we have in sports. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476.
Yeah, I'm going through the sports in my head. I'm trying to think of baseball. Is there a guy who finally won?
Well, we're going to talk later, and we can do this a little about who's next to get the monkey off their back, because there's guys now who are dealing with maybe not, exactly what Rory has gone through, but we're getting there.
Yeah. I'm thinking my guys in the 90s who couldn't beat Jordan, like Charles Barkley, he never got it. There are a lot of guys who never get it.
I know.
I mean, Rory had some major wins, but it could have easily, we easily could be talking about him blowing it again today. A couple inches this way. I thought so too.
Until he hit that second shot in the playoff, I thought. Because Justin Rose, and congrats to him if you can say that, the second back-to-back majors he comes in as the runner-up, right? And he's awesome. And I was gracious in defeat and all of that stuff. But, he was also amazing off the tee in that 18th hole.
Yep.
He was great. He just left it a little bit of a fatter putt that he needed, and he parred, but to make birdie, and he barely missed it.
It was
amazing.
It was one of those days. If you were following on social media around when Rory was at about 10, everyone's like, well, this is over. The tournament's over. Then maybe 16 minutes later, he's tied for the lead with Justin Rose. It happened so fast. The double bogey, then he missed that putt.
Yeah, double bogey on 13.
It's amazing how fast this whole thing could change, because everyone's like, oh, it's done. And they were wrong.
888-710-4ISN, yes.
I was going to buy breakfast for everyone if I took 13 stabs in the dark, bet about between $3 and $5 on 13 golfers to win.
Only 13?
Only 13.
Why'd you stop at 13?
Well, the only one. Well, I actually thought about Rose, and for some reason didn't go there. But my best bet was Oberg. It was
You've
carnage.
lost money a few times on that guy.
Yeah, I mean, but eventually he's going to win. He's only 25.
That's true.
He's fantastic, so he's definitely going to win. It all fell apart. Can I just list you some of the golfers? Yeah. Some of them were okay.
Wait, so we don't get breakfast now?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay.
Victor Hovland, I don't even know if was he there? Did anyone see Victor Hovland? Lucas Glover, I think he got caught in traffic somewhere. Phil, I didn't see anything from him. Wyndham Clark was +8 through one day. Yep. No, it was bad. It was real bad. Shane Lowry gave me a little hope. It was terrible. I'm like, if I bet on 13 golfers, somebody's got to win. Oh, I even had Scotty in there. And no.
Wow. That's a lot. That's like amazing, actually, to go over like that.
Well, no, I think it's a good betting philosophy. If any of them had won, all the odds were like a lot of these guys were 80-1. So breakfast for everybody, if any of them had hit, I would have won in a big way.
Oh, man.
I thought
didn't even realize what could have been.
Oberg was going to get you guys food. But then Manny texted me. He's like, well, did you bet on Rory? I'm like, no, Rory was like 3-1. That can't get fresh squeezed orange juice for OJ. For EJ. Like,
yeah.
Do you know how expensive these guys are for breakfast?
I know. Well, listen, if EJ doesn't have the fresh squeezed juice, he needs the Bev. We all know this about EJ. If it's not fresh squeezed, just get out of here.
Golf is a fun sport to bet on because it is unpredictable. That is stressful. If you had a big bet on Rory, can you imagine the emotions you went through?
You know what one of my favorite parlor games is? Like after somebody wins, is trying to figure out who are all these people he's hugging. Like obviously the wife, we get that, and the daughter, and like the other golfers, we know who they are, like friends that he has. But everyone else, I'm like, who's that?
There's an old guy in a green jacket. I don't know if it was a member or former golfer. Yeah, there's a lot of weird people.
Because like he's been around for a long time. So he's got probably like a pretty big entourage of people, because he like definitely hugged his wife and they had their issues but got back together. So that's like a happy story. But then there's another woman that he hugged like very long at the end. And I was like, is that the wife? Maybe I got the wife wrong.
The wife is the one.
She's the one in the white
hat. Okay.
And then he hugged this other woman and I was like, maybe it's like her sister. I don't know who it was, but it was like a long embrace. Anyone else know?
I mean, I watched it. I didn't know what was going on, though. I was like, I don't know who any of these people are, but happy for him.
Yeah, it's like agent, probably.
Yeah, I thought maybe publicist, something like that. Yeah. Like, those people are very close to athletes.
I like the Justin Rose Rory hug.
Very nice.
Yeah, that was
Sportsmanship.
That seems like those guys are legit friends. To see Justin Rose be happy for him, even the second playoff he's lost at the Masters, God, he's 44. He probably won't be back. That kind of stinks.
We talked about great sports traditions last week. I think one of them also is, the previous champion
putting the jacket on,
because that also is one of the best moments I feel like in sports.
Yeah, because these guys, I always think they secretly hate each other.
Right.
Not all of them. I'm sure there's some genuine friendships, but it's a really hard place to be because you're competing against everyone, and you don't get to that level unless you're just an absolute killer.
Well, Scheffler walked off really fast. But I don't think Scheffler has any enemies on the course.
No, but did you hear Bryson DeChambeau?
Yeah,
and I know Bryson
sure.
can, he rubs people the wrong way and all that stuff. And he's like the man of the people, and the fans love him. And we'll talk about his tournament in a little bit. But I don't know how much the players love him. He said Rory didn't say a word to him the entire round.
Well, he had that famous feud with Brooks Koepka.
Yeah.
I obviously all the golfers, half the golfers hate Brooks. I mean Bryson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be awkward
I don't
next
know
season.
if he's short a
DeChambeau
man
wins
of
it.
Yeah, he's short a man of the people. I think he's still quite polarizing, even among golf fans.
He's high-fiving everybody.
Yeah.
He's throwing golf balls to people in the crowd. I don't know. I think people like it.
Can you imagine, though?
It's like a pirate.
A vendetta against Scotty Scheffler. I watched a documentary.
The Kentucky police?
Yeah, when Scotty Scheffler got arrested, every single golfer was like, I cannot believe that man just got arrested. He is the most sort of neutral person there is. So I don't think Scotty and Rory, they're too nice. There's no way.
I don't know. You're right. Scotty got the hell out of there. But you also maybe don't want to be in the shot that much.
No, I think he wanted to give Rory his moment.
Space.
Yeah, that is a funny thing about that tradition is you sort of have to share the space with another competitor because they're handing out the jacket.
And then they do the interview after, and it's like, here's the low amateur. And here's
I love that guy.
I love that too. I love that.
Here's some dude who we found at the University of Alabama who's here now. Anyway.
Shot a 7 over. Here you are with the winner.
I think he's always really sweaty. He's got the bad golf tan.
I always think about how do they keep Butler's cabin so clean and pristine, and it looks like there's a fireplace when all that chaos is going on right around there. There's 100 million people right there, and you go in the Butler cabin, it's like,
hush tones.
Nice, relaxed.
It's got to be a green screen.
It feels like a TV
the
set.
whole thing. It is a TV set. I mean, the whole thing is. I mean, they're piping in the bird noises. Like they lay it on so
Maggie,
thick.
whoa,
that's legit. That's not a conspiracy.
Oh, okay.
No, CBS admitted that. It's not like crowd noise. It's not a competitive disadvantage.
There was some loud. I think there are real birds there. There were some loud ones yesterday. I don't think that was all piped in.
The birds were actually mic'd up. Little social
media
Little
content.
mics.
Totally.
Come here,
Or there was
Birdie. Let me get this live on you.
or a boom mic up in the tree. Yeah.
888-710-4ISN. Is this the greatest monkey off the back moment that we've seen in sports for an individual athlete? 'Cause I'm seeing a little in the chat about fan bases. We'll get into that.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Very, very different. See you guys on the phones. Today's about you. How did you feel watching Rory yesterday? Hang tight. We're going to get to you in just a moment. Again, 888-710-4ISN. It's M&P.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
All right, I'm going to say it, Maggie. Welcome back, Maggie Perloff Show. I could have hit some of those putts that Rory missed yesterday. Now,
Where, at mini golf?
If I'm alone at mini golf and there's a windmill present, it's just amazing to me that at certain moments, these elite golfers who can do things that no human should be able to do are like the rest of us because of the pressure. I mean, you saw it, the anxiety. It actually, God bless Rory, he talked about how nervous he was. So it's amazing to me just coming down that back nine, what must be going through your head? I do not know how Rory managed it on Sunday because I would have all that pressure for so many years. Well, it's 11 years, never won a Masters, career Grand Slam. It is incredible. I think it's more than even baseball. I think there's more pressure because it's just you. There's no, you're not running around. It's just you in your head. I think it's a unique experience with golf, and God bless Rory that he got through it, but he almost did not.
No, he didn't, because he definitely blew that putt on 18 that led to a playoff, and he was perfect in the playoff. But to regroup like that.
To regroup is amazing.
It just couldn't have happened any other way. There was no way this was going to be easy whenever it did happen. Let's go to the phones and talk to you. We're asking if this is like the greatest getting a monkey off your back in sports that we've seen at 888-710-4ISN. Rory completes the career Grand Slam. Bill's in Houston, big golf fan. Bill, how'd you feel watching Rory win yesterday?
I thought it was compelling television, and it was great. I remember Phil Mickelson, if I'm correct, he won a tournament as an amateur as a college player, and then he took him 12 years to win his Masters, and I still remember him jumping up and down 3 or 4 times on 18. So that was a monkey off the back on the tour. The coverage yesterday, my wife and I actually sat down and watched golf, which we never do that, but she said they don't ever show Justin Rose. They just show Rory walking. They even mentioned yesterday, Rory is hydrating and snacking now. And she says, who cares, right? Let's watch the other golfers. So I loved Rory winning that. And he was so emotional. It was great TV. But to me, Phil was the biggest monkey off the back in my mind.
Yeah, so, Bill, it's a great one. Yeah, it became the Rory show. And I think it would have been a little bit more like Bryson and Rory, but Bryson just was leaking. Like, he just...
Yeah, exactly.
Tough round for Bryson. He fell out of contention. But then Justin Rose was right there, and it was like, all right, so we do have a foil, but Justin Rose just doesn't have the... maybe the name recognition, but he's not one of the faces of the tour.
No, absolutely not. But also, Rose wasn't really right there. He hit the birdie on 18. Nobody knew Justin Rose was going to be in the lead. It was, I think people thought, Oberg's got to catch him. Otherwise, Rory's going to, fly this. And honestly, if Justin Rose didn't hit that long putt, then he wouldn't have been in there either because Rory had the win. How about this for a monkey off the back? Tiger Woods in 2019, a lot more to it, but 09 to 19, does that qualify in the same vein as what Bill just said about Phil Mickelson having to wait 12 years to win the Masters?
Man, Tiger, that felt real. To me, that felt fluky, the 2019 win from Tiger. And
yeah, but still, the amount, it proved a ton because he'd gone through so much.
It was like his third comeback. We're talking about all the life that happened to Tiger. And a lot of life happened to Rory, quite frankly, over the last decade. Not to the extent of Tiger. To Phil, though, for a second. So Phil turned pro in 1992, okay? Mm-hmm. Did not win his first major until 2004. Came in second at the U.S. Open. This was like Phil's, was just tortured at the U.S. Open. 1999, 2002, 2004, 2006, 2009, 2013. That was always crazy, but did not win. It was the first was the Masters in 2004. So, yeah, I think Phil definitely counts there for a monkey off the back. Jeff's in Minnesota. Jeff, good morning. You had an issue yesterday. You didn't like what you heard.
Well, yeah. Welcome back, Maggie, and happy Halloween to you all.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. I tell you what, I started yelling at the TV after the first hole. And when Rory, dropped 2 holes.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell are you doing, man? And my yelling didn't stop, of course. And then I started yelling again when Jim Nantz, mispronounced his last name, McIlroy. I said, there's no N. There's no N in his name.
Friends. Wait, Nance misprint. I totally missed that. Did you guys catch that?
Did not.
He called him Rory McIlroy?
I called him McIlroy, and I said, it's McIlroy. And everyone's mispronouncing his name. I said, my gosh. I mean, the guy just won the Masters. At least get his last name right.
Well, yeah, but Jeff, you got to appreciate Jim Nantz. He's obviously about to stop calling the Masters any day now.
Yeah, I know. He's getting up there. I used to play Golden Tee golf, listen to him all the time.
Bogusch gets that joke. He announced he's retiring at 11 years.
Oh, yeah. What did I miss when I was away?
Jim Nantz had the greatest retirement. He was like, I am calling it quits in 11 years. So
that's amazing.
So, yeah. I didn't know
Rory have won another major by then.
Yeah, Nantz is like, it's coming to the end here. I'm only going to do this through 2040. Seriously, it's
oh my
awesome.
Gosh, yeah.
We got to give people a heads up on that stuff.
Yeah, it was great watching Rory McIlroy win that Masters finally. I mean, what a great kid.
Jeff,
came up from nothing.
Oh, yeah. No, they went through it all through yesterday about his dad not having enough money for him to keep hitting golf balls off the driving range. And he said, hit every ball like it's, you're trying to win the Masters. Thank you for the call. I'm going to have to go back now, and I have the whole thing DVR'd to see if Jim Nantz botched Nance is perfect. I mean,
I am weak, Tony.
he never gets stuff wrong.
Yeah, I would not take your time to go back on DVR for that if I were you. Just me.
I mean,
Can we please talk you out of this?
Hey, folks.
How are you?
Still haven't watched that White Lotus finale, by the way.
Oh,
What does
I
that
know.
mean?
Big Easy is in New Orleans. Easy. You made some money yesterday.
Yes, ma'am. Good. Welcome back, Maggie.
Thank you.
Andrew, good morning. I just want to tell you that there was a site that I work with on an app, and it was given 8-1 in the beginning. And, I put something small, I put 100. It was paying almost 8-1, so I was getting, pretty good odds on that. But after Thursday, when he went from second to 26th, that went up to almost roughly to 20-1 because he was 26, even though he was 7 shots out after the double bogey on 15 and 17 on Thursday. So I doubled down and put another C note on him. And needless to say, yesterday my wife just couldn't even be around me.
I'm sure you were insufferable. Listen, and how could you not be, right? You're on pins and needles. You're invested literally into Rory, and he's got this whole history of just being one of the big choke artists. Like, it's not Jean Van de Velde, but it's a more accomplished version of that. And you're wondering if he's going to do it again.
Yeah, it was brutal. But I'm glad to have you back, Andrew. Good to see you here this morning. Y'all have the best show on radio, and I'll be listening and watching.
Thank you, Big Easy. Appreciate you on this fine Monday.
Do we need a nicer term than choking? Because you're right, but I don't know. It felt kind of harsh when you said he's one of the all-time chokers.
Asphyxiating.
I don't think you could say that anymore about him, too. He kind of killed that label in one day. I don't think I don't think it feels the same.
No, because also think about now the company that he's in. To become another career Grand Slam, now you're being talked about with Tiger and with Ben Hogan and with Nicklaus and with Gene Sarazen and all these. You're in the inner circle now.
Absolutely. You mean total major wins? Is that the
career Grand Slam to finally win the Masters?
6 of them, a crazy number.
Nicklaus, Gary Player, like these are the it's when Deion Sanders calls it the inner circle of the Hall of Fame. Like he wants a different room for guys like him.
Top floor, no doubt.
It's kind of like
Do
that.
you believe that?
Tiger's in there. Did I mention that?
Yeah. It's kind of interesting that we do that in sports. That we just as soon as you win, like your past failures do kind of like wash away.
That's part of your origin story, I think, or not origin because Rory had won.
Sure.
But it becomes like part of your myth.
The lore. Yeah. Yeah, because I think about even like Dirk Nowitzki. I think about John Elway, like all these guys. And it's so bizarre. I feel like in anything else, we take your entire track record and say, well, you did win, but you also came up really small in big spots. But in sports, it's totally different. You win, you're a made man or woman.
Peyton Manning. I think Peyton Manning had a playoff choker stigma around him. Yeah, and then when 10 years later, that's why I don't think Rory's choker status is going to stay anymore. I think this, in a way, ended it.
This is what we do. It's like we're so black and white sometimes. It's like, well, if you just win, well, now you're a winner. We're just going to say all that stuff was just the appetizer. It was the lead up.
Yep.
It, makes this even sweeter. The delayed gratification, all that stuff. It's just like, you're somehow better now.
If James Harden somehow wins a NBA title this year, all the stuff goes away.
Now that is crazy. Bogusch is here.
Because if you do really oversimplify it to the statement of he or she can't win the big one, and then they win the big one, you can't say that sentence anymore.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, you're right.
Even
Especially
if they lose
as
it 7 other times.
As this one was.
Right.
This is so memorable. Again, if he had won by 8 strokes or 5 strokes or something like that.
Like he should have.
Yeah, I mean, he was running away with it.
Well, I think that would have been actually better if he had won by 8 strokes. Don't you think? A dominant Masters run, that could have helped too.
I don't know. I kind of like this one better.
That he had to overcome the nerves.
Totally.
I think if he had just cruised, that would have worked as well for Rory.
Yeah.
The jacket's still green, Maggie.
I know, but that's funny. But I think that people would have tuned out.
I think people also would have said that he didn't face real adversity if that happened.
Oh,
because that was the problem.
Bryson-
Was that when he faces adversity is when he crumbles. That's the book on him. So if he wins by 6 strokes, he already won, but
Front runner.
front runner. No one really challenged him, so it was an easy win.
But if we don't,
whether that's fair or not,
if we don't, at least we change where we leave those first couple of holes where he gave the lead back immediately and then won by 6, he would have accomplished the same thing. Yesterday, the bad start and then that run to get up by 4 through 10 holes and then he gave that right back.
Yeah.
We didn't need that part, and we didn't need 18.
I think we needed all of it.
No. He had the bad. He flirted with the choke early, recovered, and then had he cruised, fine. Yesterday was 2 up. There were like 3 valleys yesterday. We didn't need all 3.
Well, the missed putt on 18 in regulation was like, oh, it's happening. It became even more compelling. I think you needed every twist and turn.
Your headlines, by the way, are sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Your small business keeps you on the go. Progressive Commercial Insurance keeps your policy within reach with our easy-to-use mobile app. Learn more at progressivecommercial.com. Yes, it was like Rory didn't actually want to win the Masters yesterday with all those ups and downs, but he does finally get his green jacket on the first playoff hole with Justin Rose, who played in the previous Masters playoff. That was back in 2017, where he also lost. That time to Sergio Garcia.
Unfortunately, the playoff, they always end so quickly. You know, that's sudden death. You don't really get an opportunity. If you're not the guy to hit the great shot or hold the great putt, you know, it's over. So I felt like that's the nature of sudden death, but not really anything I could have done more today.
Rose shot a 6 under 66, including birdieing 18 to be in position for the playoff, but he doesn't get the win. Rory does. He is the 6th now with a career Grand Slam, but none of the previous 5 waited as long as he did to complete it. 11 years. His last major was 2014 when he won the PGA and British back-to-back.
I can already feel the aura.
If you're gonna, Maggie, go back to anything from yesterday, there was a point where Nance rhymed Rory and Glory, and then that led right into that 11 through 14 window where he fell apart again.
Oh, the jinx, the announcer jinx?
Yes. That was on Nance. Mispronouncing his name randomly, not a big deal, but he did seem to curse Rory.
I agree.
At the beginning of the second 9.
The graphics department also had a hand.
Yeah. Yep. They thought it was over.
Yeah.
Yeah, as he's standing over the putt on 18, the CBS graphic says, for the career Grand Slam.
Yeah.
Not good.
And then he missed it. They had
Not good.
Wipe it away.
Yesterday was also the final day of the NBA regular season. The Western Conference had to settle seeds 4 through 10. The Nuggets claiming number 4. They 126-111 win in Houston. The Clippers will be their first round opponent.
Clippers have 5 on 4. Dunn finds Harden, sets up, far corner 3, connects. Clippers lead for the first time in overtime, 114-111.
Carlo Jimenez on Clips Radio. James Harden scored 39, 33 from Kawhi in a 124-119 OT thriller at the Warriors. Losing drops Golden State to 7th, which means a play-in date with the Grizzlies. Anthony Edwards scored 43 to lead the T-Wolves to a 116-105 decision over Utah, which got them the 6th seed. The Kings end up 9th, the Mavs 10th. Jaylen Brown missed the Celtics finale with the Hornets because of his nagging right knee issue. Head coach Joe Mazzulla confirming Brown did receive a pain management shot recently, but that was to, quote, put himself in great position to be ready for the postseason. Rubber game at Dodger Stadium. The Cubs a 4-2 win on Sunday Night Baseball. Pete Crow Armstrong, a pair of solo homers for Chicago. But before all of that, the Cubs said lefty Justin Steele is done for the season, needing elbow and forearm surgery. In the afternoon, the Padres blanked the Rockies again, 6-0. That's a 3-game sweep without Colorado scoring a single run. Oof. Their manager, Bud Black.
We've been carved up a little bit. The guy today was pretty good. They outpitched us. They outhit us this series. We just could not get the bats on track.
The guy yesterday was Padres righty Michael King, a complete game shutout for him. His team becomes the first in 8 years to sweep a 3-game set without allowing a run. The Pods also 10-0 at home this season. And from the NHL, the Flames beat the Sharks 5-2 to climb within 2 points of the Blues for the last wildcard spot in the West with 2 games to go. Guys, back to you.
Bogusch, thanks so much. Coming up, lots more on Rory yesterday. We'll get into the Bryson of it all, too. DeChambeau just kind of falling by the wayside. And he had a really interesting story came out about him from Masters Week that I want to share with you guys as well. We'll talk about the Warriors and what this loss yesterday means for them. maybe a blessing in disguise, and we'll a little Laker talk as well. It's M&P, don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. We'll get back to Rory McIlroy in just a moment, Pro, but we got some NBA playoffs that are set now.
Oh, yeah.
And, yesterday the Warriors lose to the Clippers, so now they have to play in the play-in game, a place they've been 3 times already, and they've never won.
Yep.
So, that's a little bit of history, but they have Jimmy Butler now. They are a different team. Here's a question for you. Of the Warriors and of the Lakers, who would a first-round exit be more devastating for, considering these are the 2 teams that made major trades at the deadline?
Oh, for me, it's definitely the Lakers because you have such a small window with LeBron. And also, too, you have bigger opportunity because you have Luka. I think the Lakers are a bigger threat with Luka Doncic there. So there's way more expectations on the Lakers. They've been really good since Luka got there. To me, the Lakers have to do it now, or LeBron's, 41 next year? He's going to do it then?
What?
So it's now or never.
I know, but LeBron doesn't age. We got to put him in a different...
Well, at some point, though, Maggie, he's got to age a little bit.
Bro, we've literally been saying that for 10 years. It's not happened. We just got to let it go. Age is a number. Who knows what's going on, but his body is unique or whatever.
He has a 4-year window here? Is that what you're saying?
So I actually think it's the Warriors. I don't think it's the Lakers. I think a Warriors first-round exit would be more devastating because partially it's about the Lakers. This Luka thing is just getting going. And I get what you're talking about with LeBron, but if Luka doesn't win, this was such a earth-shattering trade.
Yeah.
It will always be remembered as the season where Luka got traded. I don't think we're going to remember it. And also, by the way, it's the season where they lost in the second round or whatever. It will always be the shape-shifting trade for Luka going from Dallas to the LA Lakers. If they lose in the first round, I think we'd say, all right, they're still figuring each other out. That's it, And we get LeBron will run it back, and they'll change the roster, and they'll get more size. And the T-Wolves might be a terrible matchup for the Lakers. That's possible because they are a huge team. For the Warriors, you're talking about windows closing. Have you met the Warriors? They added Jimmy Butler, who's in his mid-30s.
I know.
You've got Steph, obviously, who's ageless, but Draymond's not going to be around forever.
Draymond's ageless, too. He hasn't changed his game in 15 years.
I just think that that's a way older team. And I know they rely on the Pajemskis, and they have other guys who contribute. But this Warriors, do you think another year of Jimmy Butler being older, another year of Draymond being older, and even Steph, who, again, is an ageless person? I think this is setting up for the Warriors to kind of come in and steal one. Plus, just a lot more chemistry overall, right? With the coach that's been around forever, championship DNA. I know Klay's not there, but they have the core and the nucleus. The Lakers, JJ Redick's first season. Luka got there 6 weeks ago. Has it even been that long? I think the Warriors would be way more devastating in a first-round exit.
Oh, yeah, I think there's just so much pressure. It's the Lakers of it all. They're the Dallas Cowboys of the sport, I think. And also, they're slightly ahead of them, Warriors championship odds. I think if the Lakers lost in the first round, it would be cataclysmic.
You don't think people would explain it away? Luka, LeBron, they're still figuring it out?
Oh, my God. There's so many LeBron critics. Everybody is either mild or kind of like Steph. Jimmy Butler, I don't think he's really, he's a bit washed at this point. I think for LeBron to get Luka and lose in the first round, I think would be open up a lot of room for LeBron critics. So you got that thing going on. No, it's the Lakers. They, as big as the Warriors are, the Lakers take all the heat. We'd go after JJ Redick. Not we. I would, but I think a lot of people would go after JJ Redick if they lost. Especially to a T-Wolves team, you're right. It has a lot of size. I don't think that size will be on the court in the playoffs because Rudy is completely non-effective. Rudy Gobert is terrible in the playoffs. But I think that the T-Wolves are actually a really good team. But the Lakers have to win this. If they lose this, it is going to be, Luka. They were right about Luka. That's going to come up. The Mavericks, that is. And
really?
LeBron's never going to do it. I think it definitely, if LeBron loses in the first round, I think people are going to be like, well, this is the end of LeBron James's window.
It's funny, though. Nobody said that really when they lost to the Nuggets. I mean, LeBron's had these first-round exits, and we're like, all right, he'll be back next year.
Right, because they weren't a contender. Nobody thought they were going to win that, right?
Yeah, maybe you're right about that. I'm curious, EJ, maybe can we throw this up on the poll question? Who would a first-round exit be more devastating for? By the way, the Warriors have to play in the play-in now.
Yeah, let's not write them into the first round. They're playing a Memphis team that has the same number of wins as them, and a Sacramento team possibly who has more All-Stars than them. So The West is bananas.
Yeah.
The difference between the 2 seed and the 7 seed is 2 games. All these teams are basically exactly the same.
Yeah, I get it. And I know that the Memphis Grizzlies sent the Warriors home in a play-in situation a couple years ago. But to me, this one's in Golden State. It's going to be different. I mean, the Grizzlies just changed their coach, at the last minute. I guess, is that better for Ja Morant? I find it hard to believe that Memphis is going to win this one, but we're talking about a true first-round matchup. So, like the 7 seed playing the Rockets, that would be the true matchup we're talking about. I think it'd be devastating for the Warriors. Beyond way more than Lakers. The Lakers, we will explain away. Luka, what's the difference if the Lakers lose in the first round or the second round? It's to me, we're always going to say, well, we just got the appetizer. We haven't even seen what's yet to come when Luka and LeBron could be full strength. And I think next year is when the real pressure goes on the Lakers, the real expectations. For the Warriors, Kevin just said it in the chat, youtube.com/Infinity Sportsnet. Warriors door shut. This kind of feels like if you're going to rip one off, and we talked last week before I left on vacation for a couple days about what a 5th title would do for Curry and how much different that would make his legacy. We're talking about Rory today with the career Grand Slam, shaking the choke artist. Steph is not that by any stretch, but what a 5th title going past LeBron in titles, what it would do for him. There's a lot of expectations on the Warriors.
I still don't see this, and EJ and I have been arguing about this for a month. Where is this path to a title for Luka in LA? Explain it to me very specifically, because LeBron turns 41 early into next season.
Okay.
Once LeBron is gone, that team is not talented. They're not good. It's even worse than the Dallas team. If you take LeBron off there, I'm sorry, Bronny at 2 guard is not doing it for me. And I know Austin Reeves is playing really well right now, but basically you're back to Luka and nobody in LA.
You'd have to change the team. You have to reinvent your team.
Well, that's a big ask. I don't think it's a guarantee that Luka's working in LA. I don't think it's inevitable like Kobe in LA that he's definitely going to win a title there.
Listen, I don't know if Rob Pelinka is an amazing general manager. This one really fell into his lap, but it just always seems like the Lakers find a way to pair stars together.
Right.
LeBron and Anthony Davis. That no GM was responsible for that. LeBron, the GM, was responsible. Same with Luka. And I think the appeal of LA, now playing with Luka, how appealing is that? I mean, the pull of LA has been going on for generations. They always find stars.
But it doesn't always work. Remember that SI cover with Steve Nash and Dwight Howard?
Well, that was really bad because Steve Nash's back, turns out, was disintegrating before our eyes.
I can see them getting Giannis at 34 years old, and that could disintegrate. And
34? How old is Giannis?
He's 30, turns 31 next year. I think they get an old Giannis at some point. Or, I don't know. When is Giannis coming over this year? When is Giannis going to the Lakers? Does anyone have an exact date? That's definitely happening.
I'm sure you could get odds. Listen, if the Bucks lose to the Pacers in the first round, then I think one of the biggest stories in the offseason is Giannis is basically telling us he's wanted to leave for a long time. He's laid the foundation, the breadcrumbs of, hey, Bucks fans, don't be surprised if I jump ship. I got you a title. And, every offseason we do this thing with Giannis.
Yeah, I think this is I think Luka needs to try to go all in this year. This is a good opportunity because the Thunder are just going to get better. The Rockets are going to get better. There's a lot of young teams on their way up. I feel like the Lakers have more of a window. And the Warriors, you never know. Curry, Butler's 35. You're right. He's not going to improve, but Curry could find the right combo. And they did it. And did you see anyone see them winning in 22? We thought he was washed a while ago, too.
888-710-4ISN. I don't know, EJ, I see a path. I'm assuming you do too.
Yeah, me and Pearl talked about it last week. To me, Luka's age makes this
He's
year.
25.
Yeah, it makes this year gravy. Whatever happens this year, you feel all right, we got Luka Doncic, we won. With the Warriors, they made the Jimmy Butler move purely out of desperation. They wanted Kevin Durant, couldn't get Kevin Durant, had to settle for Jimmy Butler, a guy who was a malcontent on his last place and had been an injury-prone player the last few years. So if you make that move and this results only in the first-round exit, I don't know how that's not more devastating. With the Lakers, you can at least say, okay, we have a foundational piece that's going to be with us for the next 10 years, potentially. Like the Warriors, none of those guys that are their star players are going to be there for 10 years.
Yeah.
They're facing more of a rebuild than the Lakers are.
And I think they're just facing the end.
Right.
And, I thought that Steve Kerr was retiring 2 seasons ago. I was wrong about that. But
I'll bet you guys lunch on this poll because you're forgetting one thing. It's the Lakers. We're talking about the Lakers, the Los Angeles Lakers. It's all anybody talks about. If they lose, it's going to be huge.
888-710-4ISN. Who would a first-round exit be more devastating for, Warriors or the Lakers? Get back to Rory McIlroy's big day in just a moment. It's M&P. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
3 feet. McIlroy walks up to the ball, gets over it for history with one look. Rory back and through, and he's made it! He's done it! It's a Grand Slam roar at Augusta National!
I've carried that burden since August 2014. It's been 11 years, it's nearly 11 years. I'm not just about winning my next major, but the career Grand Slam, trying to join a group of 5 players to do it. Watching a lot of my peers get green jackets in the process.
Some emotion there from Rory McIlroy, and thank you to SiriusXM. The radio call, which I love golf on the radio because it's Mike Tirico, Pearl, and he's got to whisper because he's in a tower somewhere, not far off from the green. And fantastic call from Tirico, but you would expect nothing less. It was an all-time exhale moment for Rory McIlroy. And to be honest, not to sound like a jerk about it, I was kind of not rooting for the car wreck, but I couldn't look away when he missed the putt on 18 to set it to a playoff. And I was like, we're going to watch this dude again just devolve into a puddle. I can't believe what I'm seeing here. He had the Masters on his putter and the career Grand Slam and all of that stuff, and then he missed it. Now, to his credit, he rebounded. The playoff hole he played was a masterpiece. He was fantastic. And then when he fell to the ground and started sobbing, I was like, oh, all right. This is what it's all about. It's about guys overcoming stuff when things look incredibly bleak, showing that kind of grit, and I was happy for Rory.
Yeah, I don't think anybody, unless you're a huge, lifelong Rory fan, which are a lot of them out there, I think everybody was kind of wanting drama. Who doesn't want to see the 18th hole matter? Right. And that was huge. The funny thing to me was how quickly it turned. Yeah. Everyone thought it was a runaway around 10, and then boom, it was on for the last 2 hours. And it felt like the 18th hole took a year and a half. It was a long, slow finale to that. And then the playoff, one thing, the playoff was a little short for me.
Well, it's a sudden death.
Yeah, I know. I just felt like, God, I wanted a little more drama. I wanted to see Rory stand over a tough putt and have to face those demons. You can almost see the demons in real time when he's sitting there over the ball. You can
shadowy figures coming out to pull at his shirt.
You could see what's going on in his head because there's the weight of 11 years.
Yeah.
And we saw it last year in a major. It's so hard for him to hit that putt. The gimmies. It's the gimmies that kill him in the wedge play yesterday, but the gimmies are not a gimme with him.
No, never are. And what's funny about Rory, or not funny, you're saying we've had this long drought. The drought doesn't even begin to tell the story of Rory, right? There's one thing about a decade and waiting for the Masters, and he even said watching his peers is what we played you that clip. He specifically said Jordan Spieth. Apparently that one was incredibly hard for him to watch Jordan Spieth.
What year?
I think it was 2015, was it, Jordan Spieth? He said that one was incredibly hard. But that's not even the real thing about Rory. It's about the drought. Yes, it's about the choke jobs. That's this thing that now was something that was a blemish, a black mark, a building, just boil that had to get lanced off of him. That's what makes this moment, I think, even sweeter, makes him even more of a champion, outside of the fact that he now joins this inner circle golf royalty of guys who have won the career Grand Slam. But Pinehurst last year, you're talking about the U.S. Open in 2023, St. Andrews 2022, 2011 Augusta will always be the insane one, just how he blew that. Remember, he almost hit a house? That was particularly bad. But these are all majors where he had the lead in the final round and lost. It'd be one thing if you just don't win a major and you go 10 years. These were the oh-so-close moments where he only had himself to blame. And it's weird because now he's really going to be remembered, I think, it's like his legacy became bigger yesterday because he almost choked away another one.
So I think that's one thing we've disagreed on. If he had just stormed through the end and kept a 4-shot lead and won it easily, you're saying that Rory's legacy would be even bigger, but I think he'd be known as a greater golfer. I think the way this went down, I think he's going to be known as a guy who has trouble putting a tournament away.
I think he's already known as a great golfer in golf circles. Like, he is one of the best, easily one of the best. It's just
in
been
golf circles.
Yeah, in golf. Well, in every circle, but
yeah,
it's just been these choke jobs in the majors. But he's still been winning tournaments and stuff.
Well, yeah, I'm saying like we just talked about, the fact that there's nothing guaranteed with him, that has not left him. I think he's not going to be known for his incredible resolve mentally, especially putting in a major. Do you think that? Because he definitely gave this tournament away and then
got it back. I think all of that makes it even bigger. Like, if he had just had a 4-stroke lead and just cruised to the end, I don't think it's still a huge story, but I don't think you're getting the sobs.
No,
the sobbing on the green at 18 in the playoff when they replay the hole in sudden death and he beats Justin Rose. Like, if he knows that he's going to win and he has 4 holes to think about it, I think it just doesn't hit the same way as the relief that we saw on the green.
That makes sense, right? The resilience. You're right. If he wins by 4, he's not crying, or maybe he will. Maybe he's thinking of his past. But I mean, this did seem like a special tournament to him to try to win. But yeah, that being said, though, if we're Rory, what's 5th major, right?
Yeah,
he's in the Mount Rushmore of golfers. If he had won by 5 and then he had just gone on a tear the rest of the year, then maybe he gets even higher up legacy-wise. Now I don't really see that as happening. I think he's going to be known a little bit differently. Like, what do you think of Tiger as? Tiger's a killer.
Well, yeah. I mean, Tiger is the ultimate. You know, I mean, Tiger, obviously Nicklaus, but like, Tiger is... There was something just surgical about Tiger. But then also, you know, Tiger's got, there's a lot to Tiger's legacy. For Rory, though, he's only 35. You know, with this monkey off of his back, what does the rest of his career look like? What does the rest of this season look like?
Only 35 back in golf. That used to be on the back end of golf now.
I don't think so.
I saw there's a few, you know, it is still rare to win a major in your 40s. So he's got to get most of his work done between 35 and 40, but the field is crazy competitive. I mean, you got Scheffler, you got Schauffele, you got all these guys who, by the way, a lot of great golfers were kind of floating around Sunday. I think if Scheffler had not had a really bad Saturday, like he's right there too. So I don't think it's going to be possible for Rory to, you know, when he was young, to be the next Tiger. There was a lot of, he's the next Tiger. I think it's a little late for that. Do you think there's any way he wins, I don't know, gets a double-digit majors?
That might be asking a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd have to go on this all-time tear. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see now being unburdened by this drought, by the chokes, by all that stuff. Is he a completely different golfer now? See, the thing is, he still played well. So I don't think we're going to see a brand new guy. I think we continue to see the same kind of Rory.
I think you asked a great question. You know what? If he had been able to get over that mental hurdle, he would have had at least 2, maybe 3 more majors, and he'd be at 8 right now. Maybe now that mental hurdle is gone, he can go on a super run.
It'd be amazing. 888-710-4ISN. So that was a little Rory yesterday. We'd love to know how you felt watching Rory. Were you rooting for him? Were you rooting to see the car crash again? And then watching him sobbing like that. You know, I think there's a lot of people, we were talking about this, like EJ and Manny, like they're a little younger. So you guys aren't Phil guys necessarily. Obviously, you would have seen Tiger. So Tiger spans so many generations. So does Phil, quite frankly. But like Rory's your guy. Like EJ, you were rooting for him hard yesterday.
Yeah, I was. Because I think to me, like, you know, I was like a teenager probably or a kid when like Phil Mickelson was going through his issues, right?
Yeah.
So like I knew about it, but it was not the same. Like Rory was like, I saw him as a young person saying this may be the next Tiger Woods. Like, you saw his whole story, right?
Yep.
Like, I feel like I've seen this guy go from this, like, prodigy to this, like, choker. Like, it was kind of bizarre to see, even though he has all these majors in his back pocket, he couldn't get over the hump. So I was actually, like, kind of emotional watching him walk off the course with the people cheering and him, like, looking at the crowd almost like he can't even believe what just happened. It was one of the better moments I've seen, definitely in golf, but really in sports in a long time. It was special yesterday.
I find that when these moments happen and we talk about like getting the monkey off your back or, it's different because Rory, this wasn't the first major he won. It's the first Masters he won. He got the career slam, but he's been a champion many times over. Where I really start to get all the feels is for the fan bases who finally get what they want. So Manny, close your ears, but like the Boston Red Sox, when they finally broke the curse, I really felt it for the Chicago Cubs when they finally broke their curse. And for Cleveland, now I know the Guardians/Indians organization are still, that's still a pain point. But when LeBron goes back to Cleveland and wins a title, Cleveland, this is for you. I mean, you've got that forever. I almost find that, yes, individual athletes, I feel for them, but it's almost like the fan bases, and maybe I'm a little wishful thinking for my own fan base and me with the Buffalo Bills, and I'm hoping that they become the next
there it is.
Sort of thing. But I always feel for the cities, Pearl, who were always associated with losing. Like if the Lions won a Super Bowl, just how big that would be.
Yeah, that's a good one, Detroit. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of root for my own teams and my bets. I'm not sure I sit there and what.
You're Mr. Bandwagon. You don't get emotional.
I don't know.
The Cubs didn't hit you in a certain way.
Yeah. No, not really.
How? You're
The Red Sox not either.
This guy has no heart.
It's amazing.
I don't know. Even this, you're feeling emotional watching Rory up at 18. I'm like, really? Are we doing this?
Yeah, definitely.
I think a lot of people were feeling. Now, Tiger in 2019, grown men were crying. 100%.
Yeah, that's because that was for all the old guys. But
so you relate to the old guys, not to my
not to the young.
generation.
Yeah, this is EJ's guy. Like, yeah, he's feeling emotional about it.
You don't get emotional seeing guys overcome adversity?
Nah, not really.
Unless it's the tush push, he has no emotional connection whatsoever. This is a Philadelphia only.
No, I mean,
what a warm heart Perloff has.
Yeah, I'm generally, I don't know. It feels like something people say, but are they really emotional? I don't know. Were you emotional for the Astros when they cheated their way to?
Well, I didn't know they were cheating at the time.
I know.
I didn't know until after the fact. But, for the Astros who had multiple seasons of losing 100 games and then you finally win, maybe a little bit different.
The Astros not as much. The Cubs was a big deal.
The Cubs was a huge
but the Red Sox
deal.
was very complicated because there's so many Yankee fans, and that was painful for them too.
Well, the one thing about the Cubs, like this is the stories that always get me about the Cubs, like or about teams like that who have these curses that break. It's like the person who was sitting there with the transistor radio at like their parents' gravesite, like listening to it. When you get the generations involved and you had so many things like that, that's more of just the franchise though, because people are going to come and go, the names are going to change, but the franchise remains, and then you do get attached to individual athletes. You do more than anybody. You love rooting for individual people over everything.
Oh,
you're
absolutely.
a Shohei guy. You're a Giannis guy.
I really like Justin Rose because he was featured on Full Swing this year, and he seems like a super nice guy. This I think is the key question here. This is our friend Jimmy Traina, who's the media writer at Sports Illustrated. He tweeted, "Don't let all the dramatic and sympathetic tweets fool you. The choke is better for the content business than the win." I actually laughed pretty hard at that. Because everybody in the media is like basically writing poems about their love for Rory, but secretly the only thing that made that, as you said to start the segment, if he'd won by 5 strokes, then in some ways the choke is so much better TV. That's what I was honestly rooting for good TV on Sunday.
You got it though, and you got a happy end.
Yeah, I know,
a good ending.
But I would have been just as happy for Justin Rose because that guy had been second twice at the Masters and had just lost. He'd been in the last playoff hole. Yeah, I don't know. I think the love is a little strong. Like there are guys who, again, you said they were weeping for Tiger. I feel like there are guys weeping for Rory.
There are.
Yeah, there.
Can you put on the poll? Are people crying for Rory? Or are those fake tears? I don't think they are. This is not alligator tears. I mean, you
didn't say you were crying, EJ. You said you felt a little emotional.
You felt it.
I felt it. Yeah.
Would you, if your buddy called you and was gasping because he was crying, wouldn't you think that was a little weird?
Well, I mean,
well, none of my buddies like Rory, so that'd be weird. Or like golf. So
I don't think it'd be like heaving, sobbing.
Yeah,
they're not
exactly.
actually Rory.
No, but like teary-eyed or like you feel something. Yeah, Definitely. I don't understand this. I feel like you said you were going to cry with Bronny, and you're saying that Rory McIlroy winning a Masters for the first time after an 11-year drought of majors did nothing? I don't understand
You
that.
did say you were going to get emotional when you saw Bronny and LeBron together on the court.
It turned out I was crying laughing. By the way, Bronny's playing pretty good lately.
Did you see him yesterday?
Out there.
Yeah, I did see that.
He did not play well yesterday.
Oh, no, I did not see him yesterday.
That's why he said that, because he was terrible.
I saw someone on ESPN wrote how Bronny and Dalton Connect are have been good picks. So credit to the scouting department. I was like, Jesus, I'm going to write a strongly worded letter to ESPN, to the scouting department.
The scouting department.
Yeah. You watched 3 games of the NCAA tournament, and LeBron James said, "Pick my son."
Dynamite scouting. You really found this guy at the in the corner of the globe that nobody had ever explored. Anyway. Rory, were you actually emotional about this? I think EJ's not lying about this. He definitely was. This is his dude. I'm trying to think of the last person I felt really emotional about winning.
You didn't mention Rory once last week, EJ. The name did not come through your mouth.
I'm not a golf guy, but
that's what I'm saying.
No, but I like Rory. I've always liked Rory.
You can still feel the feels.
Right. And I like people overcoming adversity.
Right.
Like that.
So
that's the story.
Let me ask you this. So you're with Maggie. The fact that the way it happened added.
100%.
I'm kind of getting okay.
It got way more raw.
If he had stayed hot and won by 6 strokes,
that was Scotty Scheffler up there. I don't feel anything.
Right.
Or if Rory had won more easily, you probably would have felt
Same
as much.
thing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's the emotion. You see that emotion because you see it's real to him.
That's fair.
You see it through the TV screen. This is not a guy. Because we think sometimes these athletes are like, oh, they make all this money and they don't really care, whether they win, they lose, they go home to their mansions and that's it.
Right.
You could tell with Rory McIlroy, that guy cares. And this stuff has been weighing on him for years. So when you see that, I think as a human, that relates to all the things you've dealt with. You think about all the things you've had to overcome and all the things that you've tried to deal with. So when you see that, you relate to the athletes in that way. I think that's what fans want. Fans want people who feel more relatable. I think Rory was more relatable yesterday than he's been in his entire career.
Yeah. And people want to see the tears, because like the tears, I think, that's why we watch the footage over and over again of Michael Jordan sobbing into all of the champions, the Larry O'Brien trophies. Like, people want to see the tears.
It feels a little bandwagon to me. On Friday morning when I came in, hey, did you see Rory's 2 double bogeys there at the end? And EJ said the Masters started. I was like, what?
Much.
I'm trying, who's the last
I feel a little bandwagon. Like, now he's the Rory fan. That feels more like a Perloff move.
I told Manny, I watch, 5 holes of golf every year. It's the last 2-3 holes of the Masters, the last 2 or 3 holes of the U.S. Open.
That was enough.
That's all I watch.
I don't know. I feel like you're jumping on a bandwagon here. All of a sudden, you're emotional or Rory. That's like Perloff rooting for Florida in the NCAA tournament.
Ask Andre. Andre was like, "You're watching golf? What's wrong with you?" And I was like, "Look, he won. He finally won." He's like, "Wow, you're really into this." I'm like, "Yeah, he finally won."
Well, and I like that it's a little different because it's not the win and ride off into the sunset either, which is a very different kind of thing. It's like the culmination. This is the career's still going on. He's still fighting live. He's still doing all the stuff. Rory's still like a major factor in our lives. I'm trying to think of the last person I got really emotional for. The Cubs fans I did, even though obviously I'm a Mets fan and rooting for the National League, and I don't love that. But for the fan base, I was happy for them. I was happy for the Cleveland fans.
I think you need, for me, I would need an individual.
I loved Andre Agassi's comeback. When he ditched the hairpiece, shaved the head. I mean, that was pretty amazing.
I think Elway jumps to mind as the guy, although I didn't really feel emotional about it because, Elway's the one. I was like, whoa, he finally did it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm cruel.
Well, it's different because you also have to take your own fan out of it. Like, you cried when the Eagles won the Super Bowl in 2017. You told me that. Obviously, you didn't cry this time around, did you?
No. Are you kidding me?
Now you're
too busy partying.
It's like, been there, done that.
She's up on stage with like, Cooper DeJean.
I was at the party last time, too, to be fair.
Well, I know. Doors just opened for McLovin. But here's the thing. I'm trying to think, who's the last person you got emotional about that you didn't have the team attachment, right? Or individual sport? Nobody?
Yeah. No, definitely not. I mean, I'm not a crier. I mean, I would cry at my kid's dance recital. I'm not crying at sports. There was a fantasy football loss in 2019 that stings me to this day.
That's very understandable. Yeah. Very understandable.
I mean, it's one of those ones where I had my guy on the bench and I didn't play him and he went off.
Brutal. I'm kind of crying because I didn't even realize I was walking to a situation where I could have had breakfast purchased for me today if only one of your 13 bets had come through.
Well, I put 13 bets at $3 a piece was $39, and some of them paid $150. So I could have come up huge. It was a good strategy, Maggie. Didn't work out, but it was better than betting on Rory. Rory came in minus 200 yesterday. What's the point of that?
Well, but Big Easy told us that after his bad round on, what was that, Friday, that he dropped to, 20 to 1 or something. That would have been cool. Where were you then? 888-710-4ISN. Watching Rory yesterday, did you get emotional? Did it hit you? And if not yesterday, when was the last time you did start feeling something? For an individual athlete, I think the Tiger 2019, I think everyone got behind. Because that was unreal.
That was crazy.
He had been through so much. And to be fair, Roy has been through a lot as well. 888-710-4ISN. We're also asking you, who's the next guy who's got to get the monkey off their back? We'll dive into that in just a moment. We've got a situation brewing in college football. This one didn't come out of nowhere because, quite frankly, we've been building to this for a long time. But the news sort of hit like a brick. So we'll get to all the latest of what's going on with Tennessee in just a moment. Again, 888-710-4ISN. Did you get emotional watching Rory yesterday? Let us know.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Somebody's watching me. Is my anxiety.
Welcome back, Maggie Perloff Show. All right, Maggie, you just got back from vacation.
Yeah.
2 questions. One, how was it? B, why would you tell Manny where you were going? What was going on with that?
Wait, why wouldn't I tell Manny?
Oh!
What?
We got to get Bogusch in here. You don't know. Clearly didn't listen to the show while you were part-time.
Sorry, guys. I mean, I was,
All we talked about. You don't know this storyline?
No, what?
I don't know how you know the storyline. You were squarely involved with it.
What happened?
Oh, so it was an accident.
Yeah, which is what I said, which is what I believed. So there was Bogusch, because he's very messy. I'm sure he'll be here in 2 seconds. He brought up that there was a conversation that happened in the office that we were all there for, I guess except for Perloff, where Manny asked, "Hey, like by any chance, do you mind letting us know where you're going?" And you said, "I'd rather not."
I thought you said say it on the air where I'm going.
Which is exactly what I expected.
That's what EJ said.
But nobody pressed you on it, so we were like, well, maybe she doesn't want Manny to know. and this was a storyline on the show. This was a storyline on the Maggie and Perloff show with Perloff, me for 2 days, and with Bogusch for 3 days. This was like the side storyline we were trying to figure out.
Why would I care if Manny knows where I am?
That's what we were all trying to figure out.
Yeah.
No, I just didn't want anyone to say exactly where I was. Not that it matters, but like where I was going, because, it's like, I'll tell you guys after the fact. I don't want to be like, well, Maggie's out, gallivanting somewhere. Of course I'll tell Manny. I'll tell him, give him the exact address. He could have come on vacation with me.
But you didn't.
I thought you knew.
I didn't know anything.
I'm so sorry.
You still don't know.
I still have no idea.
We would tell him.
Wait, what? Manny could have come on my family vacation. He's my emergency contact. You guys understand? I trust Manny more than any of you guys.
That's not a spectacular idea. But I mean, I did make up places that you were visiting while you were gone. You were in the Mongolian mountains becoming a Buddhist. You were also trying to become a UFC champion in Dagestan, and you wrapped up your vacation in the Uzbekistan-Turkmenistan border herding sheep.
Well, unfortunately, it's like really the off season right now in Turkmenistan, and everybody knows that. It's more of an August place, so I'll be there for my summer vacation. Wait, no, I just said don't say it on the air where I am, but of course you can know where I am.
Yeah, I think Maggie, we put out a false narrative. So if you happen to be listening last week, I think a lot of people think that you have an issue with Manny.
That couldn't be further from the truth.
That you don't trust him.
I don't trust
And by
Manny.
the way, I'm still a little bit there that maybe you didn't tell Manny because you didn't want Manny blabbing on air. So
Who the bleep is Manny Rodriguez?
Yeah.
Of course, Manny, again, to be honest, I'd probably invite Manny first before anybody else on the show. I mean, not to make it about that, but I'm not trying to overcompensate here. But Manny would definitely be the most fun.
I'm fun and you guys aren't.
Manny would stress your alcohol budget for the week.
Well, it was all inclusive, so, have at it.
It's also incredibly true.
Manny could have really come in handy because I was in Mexico, and Manny not only his heritage is Mexican. He also speaks Spanish, so he would have been way more helpful than any of you gringos.
Sí, cierto, sí, cierto.
Do you want to watch women's hockey while you're in Mexico? I don't understand. Like, what do you need Manny for?
That was one of the ironic parts about it. I was like, I think you would tell Manny it was Mexico. I did not.
Definitely. I mean, it wasn't in Jalisco, which is, where Manny's family's from, but I was in a more conventional vacation place, Cancun, but still could have used you.
Yeah, EJ, so you had a sense that this is what was happening. There was a miscommunication.
Yeah, it had to be. Because I was like, that's just weird. And you did it in front of everybody. That's what was so funny about it. I was like,
the whole newsroom heard it.
Maggie really doesn't care that we all know now she does not trust Manny. I was like, that can't be true. It's got to be some kind of miscommunication.
And we did journalism. We double sourced it. Like, I was asking people, you heard this? Yep, I heard that. Yep. Like, that Manny asked, and you goes, I don't really tell people where I go on vacation. And then that was it.
I meant on the air, of course. So this whole time,
so what did Manny ask you?
False beef brewing between me and Manny.
What did you think Manny asked you?
I thought you said, do you want us to tell people where you're going? Like, do you want us to talk about where you are while you're gone?
I said, I asked you if you're at the liberty of letting us know where you're going.
When you said us, I thought you meant the audience. I didn't think you meant you on the show.
Well, I didn't know that he knew. I didn't know that he knew, and I didn't know that EJ knew.
Everybody knew.
This relationship, this chemistry is what you were wanted to bring on vacation?
This is my emergency contact.
Yeah, okay.
Manny.
Yeah. Well, okay. I'm glad we got to the bottom of that.
Yeah, I would absolutely. I'll tell you anything. You can have my social security number. Manny, I trust.
Mistake after mistake.
I mean.
Because we actually saw the conversation going down like this. Manny saying, Maggie, where are you going? I'd rather not tell you.
That is so, imagine how awful that would be if someone actually said
That's why I liked it. Down with Manny.
I was like, man, are you okay? I actually was like, are you all right? He's like, but to Manny's credit, he took it like a champ.
He's
like,
amazing.
Oh, yeah, I totally understand. Like, Maggie, like, I'm a professional. Like, Maggie can, be private. It's fine.
But also, wouldn't that not square with anything that also has to do with me? I tell you guys everything. And I was about to tell you this other story that was going to be deeply personal. Like, I will share it all. And you guys know all about my personal life. Like, I don't hold anything back.
That's why we were stunned.
I'd rather not say.
To you.
Whoa. All right.
Especially when I'm going to Mexico. That just seemed also like particularly mean.
And why are you scared of the audience knowing that you're going?
It's not that. It's just I don't want to ever seem like I'm like, bragging or whatever.
Is that why you told? Yeah. You are a little oversensitive about that too.
Well, it's like I feel lucky to be able to do stuff like this, and I know not everybody gets to.
Oh, come on!
And so I don't want it to make it like you guys are all working hard, waking up in the middle of the night, and I'm
off gallivanting in Mexico.
By the way, I'm doing that starting Saturday, and you can all eat it.
I'm trying to do that next month.
Bogusch and I have different philosophies when it comes to that. No, that's hilarious though. That somehow
Bogusch,
this is where I drew the line of things that I would not share with Manny.
We had callers calling, having theories, being like, yeah, so I think what Manny said 4 weeks ago on the show was why Maggie is kind of skeptical, and that's why she's like, you know what? I'm not telling them.
No, did you guys think I was putting on one of those blue jumpsuits to go up to space with Gayle King and Jeff Bezos' girlfriend?
Listen, and Katy Perry, we don't have a lot going on here, Maggie. We need some kind of drama.
Yeah.
Especially Bogusch. I mean, Bogusch has got to sit out there looking for something. And
that's hilarious.
Just switch the chairs on him.
This one was brought to me. I was part of the end of that conversation, but then when it ended, an unnamed person was like, did she just not tell Manny where she was going on vacation? And I was like, did she?
Who's the unnamed person?
Unnamed.
By the way, the Chairgate also exploded last week, Maggie.
Yeah.
Exploded.
It
was...
No, take that out of Mexico.
I don't know if you know. It was as big as actual Watergate. This deserved a gate. This was...
Is someone going to resign from it?
Yeah, and by the way, you are in the crappy chair right now.
I am. I know. This makes me all hunched over. I have like Phil Jackson throne.
Yeah, I fixed it on Friday, and apparently it was unfixed by said culprit.
Who is the person?
Oh, that's Rich Ackerman. I won't.
Oh, yes.
We've done that already.
Yes, we have. Okay. Yeah, Rich is very particular, and so is Bogusch. You guys are both particular.
I honestly thought you weren't telling Manny for some reason I couldn't figure out. Now I totally understand it was a miscommunication, but at the time I'm like, hi, I don't really get it, but I guess there's a reason.
What? Well, what could possibly be the reason?
Manny would 100% show up and be like, here I am, guys.
That'd be fine.
Maybe he would say it on air.
But
which I don't think he would.
It's fine. I just told everybody it's fine. I was in Mexico. I was in Cancun.
What? Yeah.
Manny,
so what?
you could have come with us. In fact, you're invited to the next one.
I probably won't be able to afford it, but I appreciate that.
Well, we'll figure something out. We get it on a payment plan.
No, we won't.
Well, I was going to tell this other story about what happened, but maybe we'll save it because we got headlines to get to. And sorry to put you through that, Manny.
It was traumatizing.
I'm sure. If the roles were reversed and all of a sudden I was like, Manny, where are you going on vacation? You're like, I'd rather not say.
I might do that.
Do you understand what I would imagine in my head?
I think also,
Ayahuasca
too.
trip? Like, I don't even know where you'd be.
Honestly, I thought that's where you went for about 48 hours.
You thought that's where I was going?
A little bit.
You think I'd take my 5-year-old son to that?
Mm-hmm.
We were victims here, too, because we had
children's areas around there, right?
Oh, you go play on the
Nanny
playground.
service.
Mommy will be back in 12 hours after she figures out that she's actually a butterfly.
We also were victims, too, because we had to sit here and listen to Manny's Eastern European jokes that didn't land from the get-go, and he kept coming back to them.
Well, he basically just said the UFC fight card is where he thought I was.
Yeah, I just didn't get it from joke one, and you kept hammering it home.
I like the Mongolia one. That one was good.
That
was
one
the
was
first
all
one.
right.
That you were trained to be a monk.
That's funny.
A Buddhist.
A Buddhist,
Yeah.
sorry.
He kept on naming these countries, and I was like, I don't know what we're doing here.
Got a globe, guys. Got a globe.
You like my brother actually went to Mongolia searching for
Why?
Genghis Khan's tomb one time.
Why?
He's like likes adventure. Too Bogusch with the headlines.
It was Masters number
Speaking of
17
adventures.
for Rory McIlroy. His last major title was 11 years ago. It was
Great
a
segue.
long wait for green jacket number 1.
What came out of me on the last green there in the playoff was, at least 11 years, if not 14 years of pent-up emotion.
11 years ago were the wins at the PGA and the British Open. 14 years ago was a 21-year-old Rory blowing a 4-shot lead to start the final round at Augusta. It all went away with yesterday's playoff win over Justin Rose. It didn't have to be that hard, though, with Rory up 4 shots through 10. But Rose shot a 6 under 66, while Rory bogeyed 18 with a chance to win the green jacket there. McIlroy becomes the 6th golfer with a career Grand Slam. Rose, meanwhile, loses his 2nd Masters playoff. Last year's winner, Scottie Scheffler, finished 4th. On the final day of the NBA regular season, this was not a good idea.
Carrington left sideline, guarded by Hawkins. Carrington drives, left elbow, flips up the shot, and scores at the buzzer. He's mobbed by his teammates. He put it high off the glass to avoid the Hawkins block. And Bob Carrington driving and scoring. And the Wizards winning 119-118.
Bub Carrington with the buzzer beater, getting the Wiz that win over the Heat that they did not need. Washington still does share the best lottery odds with Utah and Charlotte, but the Jazz now technically have the worst record, so they can only drop as far as the 5th pick. The Wiz can now end up at number 6 because of this shot yesterday. Far from all of that, the Nuggets, Clippers, and T-Wolves won their finales to avoid the play-in. The Warriors are number 7 after losing to those Clips, so they have to play the Grizzlies tomorrow night. The Kings will host the Mavs in the other West play-in. That is on Wednesday. Sunday night baseball at Dodger Stadium. Cubs, Dodgers tied at 2, top 7.
The 0-1 to Crow Armstrong. Swinging a drive, center field and deep. Back goes Edmund, back near the fence. It's got a chance. Gone. Pete Crow Armstrong with a long home run, his 2nd of the game. And the kid from Sherman Oaks, which is about 30 miles away from here, is putting on a show in front of friends and family.
Pat Hughes on Cubs radio. Pete Crow Armstrong grew up near LA because his mom is an actress, in case you didn't know. Ashley Crow is the mom in Little Big League. Her son clubbing those 2 solo homers in the Cubs' 4-2 win.
Let's get our IMDb up.
The Chicago Bears are extending slot corner Kyler Gordon, 3 years, $31.25 million guaranteed. Paige Beckers has reportedly signed a 3-year deal with the 3-on-3 league Unrivaled. In 1 year there, she's expected to make more than the entirety of her 4-year WNBA rookie contract, which starts at $78,000 for a season. Beckers will be the number 1 pick in tonight's draft, going to the Dallas Wings. And hockey last night, Columbus, a 4-1 winner in Washington. So now they're 3 points behind Montreal for the last East wildcard with 2 games to go. That 1 capital goal, by the way, from Alex Ovechkin, number 896. Guys?
Pete Crow Armstrong's mom's been in a lot of stuff. She was in The Good Son. Little
Good
Big
Son?
League,
Was
you
that the
mentioned.
Matt Damon FBI movie?
No, Good Son is Macaulay Culkin.
Oh.
Remember where he's actually the evil kid?
No, I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh, really?
It's
The
good.
Good Son?
The Good Son, 1993.
Okay.
This is when Macaulay Culkin's on a tear.
Okay. What else has she been in?
Many one-off episodes of television shows that you definitely
Okay,
know.
that's a big drop.
Did a little Law and Order, a little Grey's Anatomy.
Everybody has been on Law and Order.
Everybody loves Raymond.
Bogusch has been on Law and Order.
Party of Five, she was on an episode.
Ooh.
She was in the movie Minority Report.
Good movie.
When you say she was in it, does she have an actual character name, or is she like Woman in the Bar #2?
No, she's got a character name.
Okay.
She was in 41 episodes of a TV series called Heroes, if you remember that.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
I think Klitschko's wife was in that. And yeah, then she's in something now called The Other People.
Hayden, whatever. That's who you're
Panettiere?
talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
She married one of the Klitschkos, but I don't know if they're still married.
Oh, Panettiere?
Yeah.
She's Friday Night Lights. She's a little girl. Like she's she's Yost's daughter, who's yelling around talking about how she knows all about football.
In the movie.
Yeah, in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good run for Pete Crow Armstrong's mom.
Are you talking about Hayden Panettiere or the Armstrong woman?
I'm talking about Hayden Panettiere.
Yeah. All right. A little left turn there. Did anybody have this guy in our home run derby? No.
Pete Crow Armstrong?
Yeah.
I was actually just looking up to see if Vlad Guerrero Jr. has hit a home run yet, because this turned out to be one of the terrible picks.
No Blue Jays baseball in Mexico?
There was no
Or
any
Mongolia?
baseball.
EJ and I were talking some trash. EJ's winning, but I'm coming up. I think I might be in second now.
Who's your centerpiece?
Schwarbaum. Kyle Schwarber is tied for the league lead, and then Ozuna has woken up a little bit. But it's kind of cold weather. I think we're going to see an explosion of home runs.
Guys, it's April 14th.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a long way to go.
Listen, I can trash talk with Perloff forever, okay? Me and Perloff can go back and forth on trash talk for the end
No,
of time.
I got to jump in there now because I think EJ's going to run away with it later in the year. So this is my opportunity to get in there.
How's Matt Olson doing, Manny?
I have no idea. Last time I checked, like a week ago, he had one ding bomb. That was it.
I mean, EJ really didn't reinvent
3
the wheel
RBIs.
with Aaron Judge.
Thanks, Manny.
Listen, dog.
Okay, so we have lots more to do. The situation that is going on in Tennessee, Bogusch, thank you, got pretty crazy pretty fast. So we'll unpack all of that and what's going on with the Volunteers quarterback situation and what it means for the rest of college football, and lots more Rory. Don't move. It's M&P.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Back to the Maggie Perloff Show. We get back to Rory's big day in just a moment. David Dusek from Golfweek is going to join us at the top of the hour to put this all in perspective for us. But, this story over the weekend, I can't say it came out of nowhere because, to be honest, this has been brewing in college football for quite a long time. But this particular story kind of fell out of the sky, and that is Nico Lamaleava, who is the quarterback for the Tennessee Volunteers, all of a sudden being cut from the team. Now, the backstory is that he went, either he or his agent, his representatives, it kind of seems like there may have been a disconnect between his family and his agent, went back to Tennessee as the spring portal is about to open and said, we'd like more money, and not just a little bit. We want a big raise. Reportedly, he's making around $2 million and wanted to bump that up to about $4 million.
Okay.
And said, if you don't give, I'd like more money. And they said, no. And he said, okay, well, then I'm not showing up to practice, and I'm out of here. They said nobody is bigger than the team. This is Josh Heupel, the head coach of Tennessee, and now he's in the portal, and he's looking for a new team. Again, I can't say I'm shocked by this because I think we've always been headed here, and I think guys have been going back to their teams and collectives and all that and asking for more money. What's different about this is it's a quarterback, and it came to a head this late in the season, if you will, with spring games right here, right now.
Yeah, but I mean, if you have a spring portal, this opens up this possibility.
That's true.
If you're going to have that portal, it could be an issue any year. And it's not surprising because every other quarterback, I don't know why he waited so long to try and get a new deal. I'm assuming any other quarterback that is coming back to college who made the college football playoff asked for more money. Right? Doesn't that make sense? I've been researching a little bit. Sam Levitt got a big raise, a huge raise. I think Kevin Jennings got a big raise. Generally, if you make it, you would expect to get more.
Yeah, I think he was asking for more, though, in December. And I think this is where Tennessee is holding tight here. I think they don't believe that he's worth $4 million.
But is it that big a difference between $2 million and $4 million? I mean,
yes.
I mean, in sports terms, not really.
Well, it's not the NFL yet. It's not. And I know that there's going to be money, when this whole court case gets, eventually decided, you're going to have money that the school is going to actually pay. And then you have all the NIL money, which is, commercials and car dealerships and all the stuff that you get paid your name, image, and likeness. I know that I think we're used to NFL terms here where it's like, yeah, what's $2 million for Joe Burrow? Well, Nico's not Joe Burrow.
Yeah, but I mean, he had a successful year. You would think he would get a raise. Why would he not get a raise when all these other guys got a raise?
Well, I think because Tennessee drew their line in the sand, obviously. And
that's what I think it's unusual. And that's the other thing, too. Tennessee has plenty of money.
I'm sure, but this is the thing. I think that for this particular example, I think this is Nico's camp kind of botched this thing. I think that this late into the season, I can't say season. The season doesn't start, obviously, to the fall. But this late into the offseason, schedule, to think that another team could have $4 million laying around when your own team didn't want to pay you that, to me feels like a bit of a pipe dream. Now, listen, maybe USC and UCLA come through with this big bag. Maybe Bill Belichick goes to the donors and says, I need this guy at North Carolina. It's not that I don't think he's going to land somewhere. I just don't know if he's actually getting that $4 million. I think he may have overplayed the hand when it comes to, really trying to double his salary.
Well, at least
whatever we call it.
He'll at least, if it's about the money, I mean, he's going to get at least $2 million.
Okay,
that would be nothing.
But he's getting $2 million now.
I'm saying, okay, yes, but he's not going to be a financial loser, in my opinion. I think he'll get at least that much money. So you're right. It kind of stinks that he has to leave a program that he knows so well and set a great coach, set up for success. All that is terrible. But I do not see any scenario where he doesn't end up working out financially to some extent. Yeah, he might not get a raise, but $2 million, you could find $2 million for a former 5-star recruit who got his team as a freshman to the college football playoff. Also, guys take jumps. He's young.
Yeah, no,
I
know.
mean, he could be really good.
But you don't think that there's a red flag here that his own team didn't want to pay him? Now, that's like this specific example with this one guy. But I don't know who's shocked by this. There was a reporting that Josh Pate had reported that there were guys, Nico, but other guys, who in that break between the end of the regular season and the playoff, the college football playoff, went back to their schools and said, I want more money, maybe even threatening, saying, I'm not going to play if I don't get more money. Now, that's not just Nico, but who didn't think this was going to happen? College football went from the players having absolutely no power whatsoever to now the players having all of it. But this is like the free market. This is what happens. A guy can say, I want more money, and the team has every right to say, we're not going to give it to you.
Right.
So now he gets in the portal, and we'll see what happens. And maybe Oregon comes through again. Maybe USC and Lincoln Riley find the money. But this is what happens when you have no assurances on either side. The team, the player doesn't have a long-term contract with escalators built in or what have you, and the team doesn't have any cover. They don't have any protection either that a kid's not just going to leave. This is where we are.
And this is kind of a high-end problem because we're talking about a star quarterback. So obviously Nico is going to be fine. I mean, if this happened to the left tackle, also Nico already has probably $10 million in the bank. He got a huge deal in high school. Look at the teams that are looking at him, and he's got some interesting landing spots. I don't think he's going to suffer much.
Well, it might not, but again, I don't think this was the plan, right?
No. I mean, they played hardball, but it's such a weird situation with hardball. Now they don't have a quarterback, and he's going to go to God knows. I mean, he might go with Lincoln Riley. He might go
or
to
Belichick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he might go to Riley to have a good season. I mean, Belichick could probably wither away into nothing. But I'm saying like USC, he could win the Heisman with that coach.
So I think the question is, this seems like it has really rubbed college football fans the wrong way. I'm seeing a lot of people who are saying, congrats to Josh Heupel for standing up to this. It felt like a shakedown, and that they don't like.
That's happening everywhere, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. But they don't like that this is how college football and what it has become.
Right. Because people are leaving their teams, so there's no loyalty to teams. So if you're a college football fan and you like Tennessee, you don't want to see guys moving around like this. But it's not the players' fault. It's the structure's fault. The whole system right now, as everybody is pointing out, is totally messed up.
I mean, I've seen some really outrageous opinions on this, from some people who believe that he should be blackballed from the Power Four to try to send a message that you shouldn't be able to jump ship this quickly.
Yeah,
it's like
that's called collusion, by the way.
Well, also, that's not good. And also, I mean, then don't have a spring portal. I just think that we're at a point where, nobody likes how it is, exactly how it is right now, which is, this Wild West of leaving at any time. But if you want to try to get guys under more sturdy contracts, then you're going to need a union and collectively bargain, and we're going to get there. But that's the boring stuff. That's the paperwork, that's quite frankly the college presidents who I think are really pushing back on this. It's not the coaches. I don't think, maybe not the players, although I don't know, maybe they're really enjoying all this freedom. But I think it's the college presidents who don't want the players to be employees and don't want to enter into this kind of contract.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot at stake here. I think the players are doing okay because they're making all this money.
Right, but they also can get cut at any time.
Right.
I mean, and not everybody in the portal is there because they're looking for more money. Remember when Deion Sanders walked into Colorado and said, everybody get ready to hit the portal because I've got luggage and it's Louis Vuitton.
Yeah, but I think it's much better now than, say, 5 years ago. Like, a lot of guys have made a lot of money. I mean, lots of guys, like linemen. It's been crazy how profitable this has been.
888-710-4ISN. Are you bothered by what's going on at Tennessee with their quarterback jumping in the portal? Let us know.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
The long journey is over. McIlroy has his masterpiece.
Who else? Jim Nantz on CBS calling history. Rory completes the career slam, gets his first Masters, and it was a classic Rory round, which it means hit at everything. It had some shots where you feel like he's the most physical marvel we've seen since Tiger, and then you have the inexplicable brain farts, missed putts, close putts, like for professional golf standards. And of course, this thing had to go to a playoff. Good morning, Maggie and Perloff. It couldn't have happened any other way. It was better for maximum drama for Rory that this thing actually had to go to an extra hole.
A lot of pressure on Jim Nantz because he had that line, and then he was probably thinking, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to use my Rory line. Do I have a Justin Rose line?
It's like putting the driver back in the bag. It's like,
No, I know, and he probably didn't have a club for Justin Rose, Rose by any other name or something. He would have come up with something as Jim Nantz, but you know that he Saturday night sat there and had a notebook full of lines, right? You have to.
I don't know if Nantz is that kind of guy. I don't know if it's just like at the top of the dome, whatever hits you. These guys are so skilled.
No. We talked to a lot of guys about this. They all think about their line.
I think so, but also you got to let the moment happen. You can't shoehorn it, you can't force it, and Nantz did, and it's really about Rory though, and it's really funny to me and interesting because Rory finally gets the monkey off of his back of not winning a major for a decade, never being able to win the Masters, having one of his biggest meltdowns be at the Masters back in 2011, and just the excruciating way he kept losing some of these majors. I saw this written and I thought it was really good. How could someone so blessed be so cursed? And that's what it felt like with Rory. He's got all the talent of the world. He's the face of the tour. He's got everything, yet these horrible losses where he has all these leads going into the final round of the majors and then kept blowing it. And yesterday you thought he was going to blow it. 18, he's standing there for the Masters and missed the putt to send it to a playoff. It almost felt like Shakespearean. And to his credit, he gutted through it. Whatever he had to do to get his mind right, he did in that playoff hole because it was spectacular. Yeah,
I'm really curious how he plays moving forward. Next time he's in a pressure situation, is all the pressure gone? Can you imagine, say it was Scheffler playing against him, Scotty Scheffler, who's won 2 Masters. Is he going to fold again in that situation where you expect Scheffler not to fold for some reason?
Well, he had Justin Rose right there. See, that's why I think
Rose had already finished, though. Say he was live.
If Bryson DeChambeau was right there with him, do you think who was his paired with?
But obviously, McIlroy did not come up big at the first 18.
Sure.
I'm just wondering next time around, like now that he has won this, I think you said this earlier in the show, is the pressure the same, or is he going to be able to get over that mental hurdle?
I'm curious because he's 35 years old, and it's not like he had never won before. He was a champion. It just had been so long in the majors drought and all of the close losses that I feel like now with him unburdened in this way, like what could the next, 5 years of his career really look like is fascinating to me. All right, let's get the thoughts of an expert, shall we, Perloff? One of our absolute favorites is David Dusek. He's a senior writer for Golfweek, and he's good enough to join us now. the day after, David, an all-time epic finish. Like, where do you put this in terms of, majors, masters, in terms of finishes? Like, where do we put this in golf lore? Good morning.
Good morning. I think the most recent Masters that we've had that was anywhere close to this was probably 2019 when Tiger Woods won. I mean, that one was epic for very different reasons. Obviously, that was Tiger Woods' 5th Masters. But the comeback story, the culmination of the comeback story was enormous. And the outpouring of love that you saw from the patrons and from a lot of other players, that meant a lot to a lot of people. Before that, maybe you go back to Tiger in 1997, which had social and societal ramifications to it. The first black man to ever win the Masters. That was absolutely epic. The way that he won it. You're going to have to go back really far to come up with a more popular winner of any tournament besides those two that I think I just mentioned that sort of matches what Rory did there. You saw from other players and other competitors, the fans, what it meant to see him just literally break down on the 18th against Rose, who in and of himself is a popular player. You're not going to hear a lot of people saying bad things about Justin Rose. Sort of along the same lines when Tom Watson was trying to win a British Open years ago and was going up against Stuart Sink, who's another all-time great guy. No one was rooting for Stuart Sink. They all wanted Watson at age 54 to win the British Open. So I felt bad in some ways for Rose, but boy, Maggie, this one goes deep, but until you start to get to something that's this meaningful to this number of people.
David, how popular is Rory? Is he far and away the most popular golfer in the world right now?
Well, certainly, this morning, he's going to be the apex. There's no question about it. I think one of the reasons for that, and I'm not knocking him, Scotty Scheffler does not have that big charisma. Coming off of last season when he dominated, there was every opportunity for a big character or a big personality to really dominate the whole scene. The guy just was winning, it seemed like, every single week. But that's just not who he is, and that's okay. Rory has been the leader of the PGA Tour's movement for several years as far as the face out in front of the LIV versus PGA Tour arguments. He has been exceptionally well-spoken and well thought of. He has won since he was a young man and broke through a congressional to win his U.S. Open, a decade and a half ago. He's been a prolific winner. And in a lot of ways, he became a very sympathetic figure at this tournament, at the Masters, having imploded.
Oh, we lost our connection.
The way he did, very publicly, but almost talking with the media, being a good guy in terms of just like making himself available and being very.
Oh, our connection's not so great. Manny, why don't we do this? Why don't we grab David on the phone? Just because I don't want to get his thoughts interrupted. This stuff is so good.
Yeah.
And he's being awesome. David Dusek from Golfweek is joining us. But if the connection's not good, want to have him call back on the hotline number?
I think I see Bryson DeChambeau is out there around the corner. Pull the plug from something in David's office at home.
Yeah, I think that Bryson, who also handled it graciously. He's seething underneath.
Did he handle it graciously?
I thought he did. I mean, he basically said that the course got so fast, slick, that it was not that he said he couldn't handle it, but, he said it really kind of snuck up on him. We'll get back to David Dusek and Rory in just a moment.
Did Bryson have to say that Rory didn't talk to me all day? That wasn't
he
totally
was asked specifically
necessary.
the question.
Yeah.
What did you say to Rory? What did he say to you? And I think he was just being honest about it. It's better not to lie about that stuff. Because
he could have been a little more diplomatic. Yeah, we didn't really talk much. Say something like that.
Okay, David Dusek is back with us. He's a senior writer for Golfweek. Okay, David, you were in the middle of explaining Rory's, fame and how this catapults him even higher. Go ahead.
That was.
Uh-oh. It's us. Yeah. Oh, no.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. Can I tell you, while we tried to troubleshoot this with David, can I tell you the funny Bryson DeChambeau story? Did you guys see this? Yeah. So the story is that Bryson DeChambeau apparently famously likes to play in the dark. He likes to go to the range in the dark.
Okay.
So there's a couple who lives in Augusta. They're called the Pearmans, and they're really big golf fans, and they created, in their backyard, this golf setup that has floodlights so that they can play at night. And apparently Bryson DeChambeau just sort of wandered into their backyard and asked if he could play in the setup that they have. And they're like, hey, it's Bryson DeChambeau. And he goes, yeah, and I'm Jack Nicklaus. And they go, oh my gosh, it actually is you. And he played and like gave these people who live in Augusta this incredible memory.
That's nice.
Okay, so we're going to try to get David Dusek back on here because he's one of our faves. You're asking about the popularity of Rory. Again, I think it's always been, I don't know if it's a matter of popularity to me. It's just like, how are you thought of? Are you thought of as a winner or are you thought of as a loser? And I think despite the fact that he had won multiple majors before this, he was thought of as a loser, as a choker. And that changed yesterday, in my opinion. Okay, we got David back. David, I'm sorry. This is obviously our fault on our end. Continue your thought on Rory and what this means for him.
No, I think that it's enormous. I mean, I think for him personally, it's the monkey off the back. It's the opportunity for him now to go about his career, which he's still got easily 5 or 7 years of prime Rory McIlroy golf to go. The fact that I think mentally and emotionally he's going to be freed up from the burden of being asked time and time again, when are you going to win the Masters? When are you going to complete the career Grand Slam? How are you going to sort of get this done? It's done. He doesn't have to deal with that ever again. And I think that it will be an enormous burden that he doesn't have to bear anymore. And you saw that coming out of him when he collapsed. You saw that coming out of him when he hugged his caddy, Harry Diamond, who's been a lifelong friend of his. You saw that coming out of him when he hugged, all the different players, when he saw Shane Lowry, especially, who he's grown up with and played so much golf with, and, countrymen. It's a huge thing for him to have released. And I think that one of the reasons why it becomes so compelling and why so many people are really drawn to it is right now it's authentic. It's not manufactured for YouTube. It's not something that is created, it basically for the cameras. What you saw from Rory was exactly what you would have seen from him had cameras not been rolling, had there not been microphones put in front of him, had he not been asked these questions. This was something that he really felt and he worked at for over a decade. So yes, it's probably that much more meaningful for him this morning, having gone through all that, but it's I think going to be still one of the most popular and one of the most well-respected achievements that he's going to have throughout his career.
David Dusek is joining us from Golfweek. I was just saying that to Perloff. Somehow, David, I think he becomes known as even a greater champion because of all of the heartbreak and the losses. I don't know why that exists in sports, but I think it actually helps him. Now he's in this inner circle, being the sixth golfer to have the career slam on the men's side. I think it adds to the lore and adds to him as a champion somehow, having all those failures.
It's such a distinguished group of players that he now enters in with. And it's funny how we look at, I think, a lot of different individuals and a lot of teams differently when they finally break through and achieve it. All of a sudden, the shortcomings become, oh my gosh, look at how many opportunities they had over this time period. And just the lens of it changes. Similarly, Phil Mickelson went a lot of years winning regular PGA Tour events and never breaking through in major championships until he finally won the 2004 Masters. And then the floodgates opened for him. And people looked then back at his record and was like, gosh, the guy's gotten so close to this many U.S. Opens. He had so many different chances here and there, and he finally was able to break through. It just changes the way that we look at things. With McIlroy, having seen his entire career, in color TV, for the most part, the post-Tiger, run. He comes out, and Rory comes to the United States in 2010, and Tiger's already going through a lot of this different scandal stuff. He's not the same player he was in the early 2000s, late 90s. Rory, you could argue, has been one of the most dominant players at the week-to-week PGA Tour events that we've had, short of Scotty Scheffler over the last 2 or 3 years. It's something where you just see this really steady level of excellence. Rory hasn't gone through the 2-year slump where all of a sudden he fell into the 20s or 30s in the world rankings. He's been a stalwart at the top. He's huge in Ryder Cups. One of the things, that we're going to enjoy is that Ryder Cup this year comes to Bethpage, and that'll be at the end of September. And Rory will obviously be playing for the European team. I wonder if Rory's not going to be the most popular player on either team, even though he's playing against the United States. It's going to be hard for people to root against Rory McIlroy. They'll find a way to do it, I'm sure, at Bethpage, and they'll be well hydrated. They'll find a way. But Rory McIlroy is so beloved here in the U.S. He's obviously based in Florida. He married a woman from Rochester, New York. Maggie, cheers for upstate New York. There we go. It's really easy to be a Rory McIlroy fan, especially after he wins like he did yesterday.
So, David, who do you think is the favorite? You got 3 majors left coming into, say, the PGA. Is it Rory? Now, do people expect him to be a little bit better now that he's got the monkey off his back?
I think that Rory gets a pass, honestly, for the rest of this year. I think that he will be competing, and I think that he could certainly contend. The one that he's going to be eyeing every golf tournament he plays in. If you asked him which one do you want, it'll be the British Open going back to Royal Portrush in Northern Ireland. He grew up 10 miles away from that golf course. Wow. He blew his opportunity to win it when it was there in 2019, and his buddy Shane Lowry won it. Rory would love to win the Open at Portrush. The PGA Championship being at Quail Hollow outside of Charlotte in about a month or so, that's going to be open for business. We could see a lot of people. I could see Bryson DeChambeau coming back and winning someplace like that. I could see Scotty Scheffler winning there. The U.S. Open going back to Oakmont will be an absolute brute. That'll be the hardest of the four, without question. Will Rory have been able to recover emotionally, physically in this game? I don't know, but I think, honestly, for the rest of this year, Rory gets a pass.
David Dusek is joining us. He's a senior writer for Golfweek and good enough to stick around for a couple more minutes. And David, you mentioned this is clearly the apex for Rory, right? Yesterday, the dramatic win in a sudden death, playoff hole against Justin Rose. What do you think was the nadir? What's the opposite? What was the lowest moment, do you think, from Rory over this decade drought of majors?
Blowing, his opportunity to win the Masters. What was it, back in 2011? I think it was, when he hit a tee shot on 10 that went left of Atlanta. I mean, that ball it was so bad, and he would be the first person to admit it was one of the worst shots he'd ever hit. And to lose a 4-shot lead on the back nine Sunday is pretty bad. I really thought that we might see it again when he rinsed with his approach shot on 13 yesterday. He lays up, which I thought was a fine, tactic, and he goes 3-wood and then lays up onto the par 5 and then hits it into Race Creek. I'm like, oh my God, here we go. This is going to be worse. And thankfully for Rory and his team, it wasn't. That one, when Rory went left off 10 and blew a 4-shot lead, that was tough. That was really tough.
Hey, David, who's the next guy that we root for to break through in golf?
I think that if you really wanted to, in 4 weeks, again, like I said, we're going back to the PGA Championship. I don't think it's going to happen. But as far as completing the career Grand Slam, Jordan Spieth has not won a PGA Championship, but he's got a green jacket. He's won a U.S. Open, and he won a British Open at Royal Birkdale. So you've got the same story. I don't think Spieth's game right now is anywhere close to where Rory is or what we have seen from Scheffler and stuff like that. But I think if Spieth were able to get himself into the mix going into Saturday, you're going to hear a lot of stuff that's going to echo from what we've heard this last week, which is, hey, Rory completed the career Grand Slam 4 weeks ago at Augusta. Can Spieth pull it off this week in Charlotte? And the course, Quail Hollow, hosts a regular PGA Tour event every year. There's a lot of familiarity. All the players know it. I think that something somewhat similar to this would be Spieth going for the career Grand Slam at the PGA.
David, can't tell you how much we appreciate this. Sorry for the technical issues. You're awesome for rolling with the punches, and what a fantastic moment for golf. I really feel that. Perloff thinks the people who are emotional about Rory are faking it.
I didn't say that. I thought it, but I didn't say it.
Perloff, do you hate puppies and old people too? What the hell is wrong with you?
Well, okay, David, you will give me this. There are a lot of neutral people who did want to see the choking down the back nine just for a more entertaining television product. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, there's always going to be the casuals at any sport who want to just see like carnage and train wrecks. They watch NASCAR because they want to see somebody wipe out at Talladega or something like that. I get that, but you're better than that, Perloff. Come on,
He's not. He's not.
I can't wait now that you describe.
He really isn't. No, that's what we're learning. He really isn't better than that, is he?
Yeah, I can't wait for the U.S. Open now. That sounds like it's going to be a mess. Bring it on.
Oakmont is going to be like a steel cage Texas death match. That place is just another level. So I'll look forward to talking with you guys from Pittsburgh.
Awesome.
David, thank you. Read him on Golfweek. You can follow him on social. David Dusek is the absolute best. Thanks, David. Appreciate it.
You got it.
Yes, he doesn't know you well enough. We know
David.
you.
Oh, I know. I've known David a long time. He knows me very well.
We're lucky enough to know Dave for a long time. Hell of a tennis player, David Dusek. But he
former pro.
I know.
Yeah.
But if he didn't think you were possible, it was possible for you to be rooting for the Rory train wreck, then Maybe it just hasn't been around you.
I am like you. I'm glad that he did win it, but we needed some juice. I needed something to watch on Sunday.
Well, you had it.
Yeah, for a long time, it felt like we weren't going to have it. So he's right. Casuals, we had a close. I'd rather it went down the way it did than for Rory to win by 5.
Okay, so if Jordan Spieth now is kind of like the next guy to break a drought, I feel like this is shaping up to be the year of the drought busters.
Okay.
Because UConn hadn't won a national championship in a decade, right?
Yeah.
They'd been back to Final Fours and stuff, but it had been a long time.
You mean the women?
Yeah. Florida, the men's team. I mean,
yeah, but there was no emotion around that. It wasn't. Nobody was tracking whether the Florida Gators would get back there.
I'm just saying it's been a while. And now you got Rory, who had a decade-long majors drought. Maybe that's the theme for 2025. It's like the people, like big comebacks. Like Jordan, if Jordan Spieth wins the PGA and completes the career Grand Slam, he hasn't won a major since the British Open, as David said, the Open Championship, in 2017. Like, this could be it, guys. The question is, does it count as a drought for the Lakers? It's only 5 years.
Well, you were thinking the Lakers. I was thinking about the Knicks.
The Knicks would be a huge drought buster. I mean, that was 1973.
Oh, yeah.
That's a real drought. It's the funny thing is some people don't count the bubble title. So if you don't count the bubble title, then the drought, I guess, becomes bigger.
Yeah, definitely.
But I know one person who definitely counts it, LeBron James.
I know.
I mean, the Eagles obviously wasn't a drought buster. Was Ohio State a drought buster? They hadn't won since Zeke, right? Or actually, did they win with Zeke?
I think that's one.
Cardale Jones.
Yeah, because everyone kept saying how they couldn't beat Michigan and they
Yeah.
were this paid roster that couldn't win.
No, I'm not going to give you that one. I don't think that one's
I don't
a
know.
drought.
Maybe Ohio State does fit the mold here.
Is that really the narrative coming into that game? Is like, wow, Ohio State can finally break this drought?
Nah,
Because they're playing Notre Dame, who's a much bigger drought. That's a drought.
Going into that Tennessee game, though, that definitely was a conversation of they're going to really blow it against a team that's going to take over their own stadium because the fans don't think they have any shot. It changed when we saw, oh, wait, they got the best players in the tournament, so maybe they'll win.
But Notre Dame, that's a drought.
That's a real drought, definitely.
And
Notre
then you
Dame,
have
Penn State.
You have your Bengals and your Lions and your never ones, and your Bills.
Yeah.
Is that a drought? Is it the same category? Is the Bills a drought?
No, that's different. That's a first-timers club.
First time. Yes, it's definitely different.
This is very different. Like, Rory had already won multiple majors before yesterday. He had just not won the Masters and not at the Career Slam and not won a major in 10 years. I think it's more of a drought buster.
Well, there's no way you could call the Lakers a drought. They won this decade, and they haven't even been close since.
No, I think the Knicks are the better. I mean, that would be that's an all-timer. You're going back to the 70s.
Well, yeah, I guess the Cavs obviously would be. I think the Cavs would be a nice drought buster.
Well, they won.
But
yeah,
again,
16.
it was 2016. So.
Yeah, but that was one title for Cleveland in 70 years. I think,
right.
I think we can hold off.
I think it's 10 years. I think if it's 10, just like Rory, a decade, then it's considered a drought.
Yeah, Cleveland's a different team too, so it's a different category. All right, I'm glad we're laying out the sports rules. You need sports rules. You can't just willy-nilly decide what this is.
So you mean to tell me that the Yankees drought would be over? They call that a drought as well?
That's
Definitely.
a drought.
I definitely agree.
I think
09, the Yankees are in a crazy drought. Now, they made the World Series last year, so that helps.
That didn't happen.
But it only counts as a drought if your team is close in the interim. Like Rory kept getting close. The Yankees keep getting close. Ohio State kept getting close. I don't think Cleveland
UConn
disappeared
women kept getting close.
I also think your pedigree counts too, because I think for the Yankees, again, 15 years for the Cavaliers, I don't think matters because that's not a winning franchise. For the Yankees, we expect them to win every year, so 15 years is it's almost like 70 years in Cleveland years, right?
Yep.
So I think that's a big difference as well. I think Rory kind of felt that a little bit because I think Rory he has a pedigree of being one of the best golfers. He's already won a lot of majors, so 10 years felt almost like 30 because it was like, how could a guy this talented keep falling short?
Yeah, not win. And he kept choking. I mean, obviously, the answer is the Dallas Cowboys. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. That's a pretty big drought.
We're only talking about teams that could possibly win.
That's right, Pearl.
Okay, lots more to do, including it is a Monday, which means the M&P 500. Whose stock is up, whose stock is down after a big weekend. And we've got football news for you of the NFL variety. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie Perloff Show. We have made an important distinction. Rory broke a drought, different than Maggie's Buffalo Bills or the Cincinnati Bengals or the Detroit Lions or what the Cubs did. Those are first timers. So now we're wondering, Maggie, what did you call it? The year of the drought? Drought buster?
The year of the drought buster. Now, Rory did win his first Masters, but it wasn't his first major. And it felt more like a drought. I think that was the catharsis of the whole thing. That was the sobbing. That was the exhale. That it's not just winning the first green jacket. It was all those failures at 2 U.S. Opens, at a different Masters, at St. Andrews, for the Open Championship. To me, it felt like a drought.
I don't think you would have the same emotion if it was at one of the other majors. I don't think if he had won the PGA, it would have been as intense because he did apparently have a fascination with the Masters.
Yeah, it's like Wimbledon.
I feel like it's
all the majors, but one kind of stands above the rest.
If he had won the PGA, do you think he would have gotten down on his knees sobbing? I don't think so. In fact, because we've almost seen it like 3 or 4 times. It felt like there was more pent up emotion here, especially at Augusta.
I think Augusta's, like a magical kind of place, yes, but I think if it was the same playoff, the sudden death hole, the fact that he had choked away the lead and then got it back, and then Justin Rose is there. I think we would have been. I think at that moment we wouldn't have cared about the venue. It would have been about the major.
I don't know if it had been the PGA, the redheaded stepkid of the.
These are hard to win for all. I think he would have taken it.
Come on, everyone knows there's a pecking order amongst these 4 majors.
Well, that's definitely true. Billy is in Toronto. Billy, what'd you think of Rory yesterday?
Well, first of all, Maggie, I hope you're right about this drought. We got a team up here in Toronto that hasn't won the Stanley Cup since '67. So,
that's the ultimate.
Definitely,
the ultimate drought right there.
Definitely would be part of this conversation.
Yeah, listen, guys. I see this golf tournament, and I watch a lot of golf. I watch the whole thing, and I just see it differently. Rory, you escape with your life. I mean, I just can imagine what would have happened if Justin Rose had shot there in extras, stopped like it was supposed to. They both birdie the hole, and they're still playing. Rory, you broke down on the course. I'll tell you what you should have done. If you know those golf covers that you have on your clubs, you should have put one over your head and walked off the course, because that was flat out embarrassing. Listen, I've said it a million times. You can hit a bad shot. I get it. Maybe he hits one behind a tree or something. It's tough. But man, you can't be in eagle range and hit one in the creek and another one in the sand trap. You absolutely escape with your life. And I was rooting. I like Rory, but I was rooting for Rose because I wanted to see the uproar in the the newspapers and everything the next day. And finally, Jim Nantz, you're a legend. I get it. I get that you're a legend. But my God, I had to shut the damn TV off after listening go through Rory's whole life. You're the one that probably put him in that slump. Every time you said something, Rory did something bad. Jim, stop looking for the signature call. Just call the damn sport, because I missed the whole broadcast because I turned the damn thing off having to listen to you.
Wait, Billy, hold on one second. This is you're really pulling a Perloff going against the grain on this thing. So even after Rory pulls out this miraculous thing, you said he's fighting for his life out there, golf-wise, he wins the playoff against Justin Rose in a sudden death, and you're still not giving him credit? You're still thinking about the opportunities he blew in the final round?
Listen, he's one of the top 3 golfers in the world. I'm not giving him no credit. I'm not giving LeBron James credit. I'm not giving superstars credit that are supposed to come through. You escape with these life.
He came through.
Yeah. Okay, all right. No, I agree with you, Maggie. Yes, he did come through. But, Maggie, come on, man. Come on. He won that thing by 7-8 strokes.
Well, you're right. But you know what? For Billy, you're the best. That was funny. For maximum drama, I'm kind of glad. If he had just cruised to a 5-stroke lead, I don't think you're getting the tears. Maybe later, but not. We saw some raw emotion there on 18.
Right. I mean, I think it brings up an interesting question. If Justin Rose had won, would this be one of the top 5 chokes? Are we talking about Greg Norman level?
Oh, yeah.
Is it worse than what happened last year to Rory?
Yes. I think it would have been worse.
Well, yeah, I mean, last year there was 2 short putts.
Yeah,
right?
2 bogeys. He bogeyed 3 of the last 4 holes and missed the short putts on 16 and 18. And Bryson DeChambeau ended up winning that by a stroke.
I think it is worse because it's the Masters. And I think that means more.
Probably, and also I think it's like you're supposed to learn something eventually, right? Like at some point, these close losses and these haunting losses you're supposed to change. You're supposed to come back stronger, and he actually did it. You're giving him credit, though, right? Billy was not.
Yeah, I understand exactly what Billy's talking about. I mean, he missed shots that he should not have missed. And you know who would tell you that? Rory McIlroy would look back the round and be like, wow, I should have been much better. And you could hear him afterwards. One thing that is not against the grain, I think lots of people thought Jim Nantz jinxed him throughout the afternoon. Because
Glory to glory.
Hello, friends.
Yeah, it's shot of a lifetime. There was a lot of, I think people were worried that Jim kind of gave it to Rory a little too early. But I get it. I get what
for the
Nantz
moment a little too much.
No. Just basically, you
crowned him.
We all know how sports works. Basically, everything we say and we do affects the outcome. Even though Rory couldn't hear Jim, the universe could, and you felt like Jim had. I don't know. It was you felt like Jim had thought the tournament was over. That's sort of what and we all did. You know why? Because we all thought it was over. We had no idea Justin Rose was going to hit that putt at the end. Like there was no way what happened could have happened. But so I think you're right. He's against the grain saying Rory screwed up, but he's with the grain saying Nantz almost cost him the entire title.
Andrew Bogusch is here with headlines for us, and Jim Nantz. He's not known as one of the great jinxers, though. Like when I think of announcer jinxes, I think people believe Joe Buck is probably a lot worse.
Oh, Buck does that. There was a lot of people thought.
Al Michaels.
I saw this tweet several times. Nobody, even Jim Nantz, wanted that final putt on 18 to go in more than Rory did. because you've done broadcast, Maggie. Like you have a flow. Like you have to sort of use your energy at the right times. Like Nantz was gearing up to make the historic call, and then the putt missed.
Here we go.
I mean, Bogusch is play-by-play. You know what this is like.
That must have been tough for Nantz, right?
I mean, of course, and he got the call ready. It's the perfect moment for anybody, but for Rory to hit the putt to finally win it. But then he got right away again. He got it again on 18.
Yeah,
he still got it, and he made the putt to win. It wasn't like Rose missed, so it could be a very celebratory call.
Do you think that he wrote the line masterpiece where he has his masterpiece in advance?
Yes.
I mean, Tirico had a roar. That was his play on words, right?
Tirico's sounded natural. I thought Nantz had that ready. Had his masterpiece ready.
Yeah, because that was not a masterpiece. That was. I mean, Rory said that. He was like, I don't think anyone has ever double bogeys 4 times in a tournament and won.
Oh, that's a great point. I didn't know Rory said that.
He did.
I think he meant
Rory's kind of with Billy then a little bit.
I think that he meant the playoff hole. That was a masterpiece. He birdied 18. I mean, that was beautiful.
No, he meant the whole thing.
I think he meant the tournament.
It's pretty good. Well, it's still a good line, even if it wasn't a masterpiece.
Great line.
Nobody answered my text. He had said master's piece.
Masterpiece.
Play on words.
I think there was a reason why that went unanswered.
You could have said no.
It's a bit of a pun.
I know, but they all are. I mean, Ryan Rucco, my friend, did the book of Beckers at the end of the WNBA, the basketball championship. Like that was a pun.
Well, what about how about my dad joke not getting any love this weekend?
I told you it was too good to be free.
Oh, well, I thought you were kidding.
What was your dad joke?
You were still away in parts unknown. When Nico didn't show up at practice, I asked, wait, hold on. Can you get the word in?
Yeah.
Basically, it was
You tweeted it.
Yes.
Tennessee QB Nico Lamaleava isn't showing up for the spring program. Do we know if they are volunteer practices?
You really wanted a response to that?
Just the worst.
I did put hashtag dad joke, just to be clear what I was doing.
No, we got it. I don't think we needed the hashtag.
Volunteer practices? Who's with me?
Nobody, apparently.
That was bad.
That wasn't a master's piece.
Someone was going to ram that power T right down your throat.
You got to get the lat of me.
I saw EJ exited the text thread. I was like, what is going on here?
A joke so bad, he just had to abandon ship.
Volunteer practices.
Yeah, no, we got it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, because they're the Tennessee Volunteers.
NFL has voluntary practices.
Ah, okay.
You were mad about Manny naming random European countries where Maggie was staying last week.
Allegedly.
He was really into it, though. That was the strange thing. he had these scenarios of what you were doing that were quite creative.
Yeah, it turns out it was a mix-up where Manny thought that I was trying to gatekeep where I went on vacation from him. Meanwhile, I just thought he knew. So that's it. There was really no big mystery here.
I had as many clues as Shohei Ohtani did with Ipe.
It was not that interesting, although something really heinous did happen on the vacation. We'll get to that in a moment. I was in Mexico. Bogusch is here for headlines.
Long after the opening double
Deep tease.
bogey, shortly after blowing a 4-shot lead over holes 11 through 14, Rory McIlroy still could have won the Masters in regulation.
McIlroy steps in. Can he do it? Rory looks at the hole. Putter back and through. And he missed on the left. He missed on the left.
Maggie, you're right. I love Mike Tirico, Masters Radio, Sirius XM, whispering like he's on Rory's shoulders during that putt.
You're never supposed to whisper on radio. It's like a major. You would never do that.
He's in
at
a
sporting
sealed
event.
booth. He can't be heard.
I thought he was in a crow's nest.
But he's not. I don't think he's in the open air where he's going to disturb McIlroy.
Is that a known rule of radio? Don't whisper on radio? I've never heard that
I
one.
didn't know that either. I definitely.
Well,
I know you're not supposed to talk about a certain.
It's golf. He might hear me.
Why aren't you supposed to whisper on radio?
Because it sounds bad. It sounds terrible.
I think it sounds cool.
Isn't this what ASMR does?
It's not a ghost story.
But you're saying it like it's an established rule of radio.
All I know
You
is
get
that
into this business.
Stop whispering!
What's the first thing you said? Whatever you do, don't whisper on air because it's not something that comes up a lot.
Maybe this is just specifically me. A long time ago, I got a chance to interview Drew Brees, and it was at this random event.
And he told you this?
No. Yeah, Drew Brees was like, you amateur. And it was weird because there were all these people around, and I was self-conscious, so I was talking very quietly. And we got back to Sports Illustrated, and they said, this is not usable. Why are you whispering?
Yeah, why'd you break the first rule of radio, Maggie?
For a video interview.
The only rule that I've actually
I was like,
heard
we're
is
here
that
with Drew Brees. It
you're
was
not
weird.
allowed to talk about whether certain fictional characters are real or not. That is the one rule I've always heard.
And there's also a line we cannot say, which I'm not even going to get there because I don't want Dave Marinick to be sweating.
yeah.
But there's a very famous line
Right.
that's been trademarked that we can't say.
Right, that's the that's the second guard rule. Basically, if there are kids in the car, you can't talk about certain things, and then you are definitely
the
can't say
holidays.
that. That line is worse than basically your company goes bankrupt in 3 seconds if you say that line. You will lose every lawsuit that ever was.
They put the fear of God into us that we can't say that line. So we're not going to say it.
Yep.
And-
It's like Voldemort.
Yeah, and no fake emergencies either.
Can't do that.
Yeah.
That's like the Hindenburg
What do you
going
mean?
down.
You can't
the-
play the emergency alert noise for fun. You can't
And you
do
don't
that.
want to play sirens if you can,
Right.
because people in their car would think there's a siren behind
Like
them.
War of the Worlds.
I
You
don't
can't
think
do
you
it
can play
anymore.
you shouldn't play a lot of like gunshots or explosions either, right?
So in case people are in their cars,
Yeah, they may think that this wasn't.
You can
Exactly.
mimic grenade tosses, but that's it.
Oh, can you now?
Yeah.
When I was doing the sequel bracket, doing Die Hard was tough because there's a lot of
A lot of sounds that were alarm
and
drivers.
sirens. I was like, and cursing. It's like, how do I find a clip that is usable for this show? And it kept winning. It was almost made the final four.
Die Hard?
Die Hard too, yeah.
Elite 8. Yeah, it made Elite 8.
It's a good movie.
So Rory won the Masters, beating
really?
Justin Rose on that playoff. First, a playoff at Augusta in 8 years. Rory finally has the career Grand Slam, 11 years after winning his last major, and 14 years since throwing away a 4-shot final round lead at Augusta. From the NBA, the Blazers have signed head coach Chauncey Billups to a multi-year extension a few days after giving GM Joe Cronin the same thing. Portland improving by 15 wins this season.
Good for Billups.
Penn State pass rusher Abdul Carter visiting the Patriots today. As far as we know, this is his last scheduled pre-draft meeting. And the Cubs won their rubber game at Dodger Stadium 4-2 on Sunday Night Baseball, but they are losing lefty starter Justin Steele to season-ending elbow and forearm surgery. Guys, back to you.
Bogusch, thanks so much. I'll tell you the bad thing that happened to me on my very fun vacation to parts unknown. And also, we've got more NFL news for you that will impact the draft. I'm certain of it. We'll get to that next. It's Maggie and Perloff.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
He's got something to say, infinity's mice. He's feeling the dismay. No NBA on NBC. What a shame. Just JJ Redick's wine ain't the same. Peter Bellotti is getting upset. Maggie Perloff, can you hear his plea? Bring back the NBA on NBC. Set his spirit free. He misses more. Co-stars and the crew, those were the days. Pete cries out, boo, boo. Bring it back, oh can't you see? Bring back the NBA on NBC. Let it be. Pete's mad, he's feeling sad. Bring it back, oh make it right. He's got Bogusch weeps. He's got the road trip blues. Left behind, feeling like he's bound to lose. Perloff's off to San Antonio. Can't believe his eyes. But Bogusch stuck at home. His heartache amplifies. Betting against Lamaleava, Perloff took the fall. But it's Bogusch left behind, feeling 10 feet tall. A loser in his own right, can't catch a break. Road trip dreams shattered, for goodness sake. For goodness sake.
One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie Gray and Perloff. Talking about Rory McIlroy, and could this year be shaping up to be the end of the droughts, the drought breakers? Could that be our theme for these champions? Not first-timers, although Rory won the Masters for the first time yesterday, Pearl. But I'm talking about the decade-long drought between majors, the painful, excruciating losses. We had this with the Yukon women. They were getting close, but hadn't won in a decade. The Florida men had been even longer than that, although we weren't really tracking that maybe in the same way that Rory, but lo and behold, here we are.
Football team, that's a drought, the Florida football team.
Now, that would be a big drought. I said the ultimate one is the Dallas Cowboys, and Sean is in Oregon, thinks that the Cowboys are due. What's up, Sean?
Hey, welcome back from your vacation, Maggie.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you've been doing a great job. You know, I listen to a lot of sports shows, and you're one of the only women I know for sports shows that hold things down. And last month was Women's History Month, and I just wanted to give you some cred there for that because you do a great job and you deserve your vacation. I hope you had a great time.
Oh, well, thank you so much. It was great.
Yeah, Sean, Maggie told you where she was going, right?
I wouldn't tell Manny.
No, because I'm one of those guys. I'm terrible about calling people. I used to house sit for a couple different friends of mine, and I was kind of bummed out because my friend quit having me house sit for him, and I realized, well, I called him every couple days, you know, and he didn't like that, and I just realized I should have never done that. But I'm always one of those people. I'm proactive, and if anything's going on around your place or if I have any questions, I always ask. You know, I'm good about that.
Well, I think that's a good quality to have in a house sitter.
Well, I just wanted to touch, you know, you guys talk about the people going through droughts, and I hear about the Cowboys going through a drought every week. Like you talk about droughts, you know, it's the most valued sports franchise in the world. And I really like to see Jerry Jones get that monkey off his back because, you know, nobody sticks around forever. And he'll be truly one of the most missed owners of all time because, you know, I do believe that he cares about his team more than almost everybody. He's one of the only owners that actually played the sport. You know, he played there with Jimmy Johnson, you know, at Arkansas.
Yeah.
And, you know, I could just imagine if I was an owner like that, you know, really what he feels about it and how he thinks. That's why, you know, he treats his players really good. You know, he treats his people, his community really good.
Yeah. The only thing is, it's like rooting for Jerry Jones, though. There's something that doesn't feel right about that, Sean. It's like rooting for the billionaire.
Right.
You know,
he's not an underdog.
He's already won at life in so many different ways, and it's his own fault that he ran Jimmy Johnson off.
I agree, you guys. I agree. And I used to root against the Cowboys a lot, you know, in the 90s and all that. I'm a Steelers fan.
Yeah.
And I still remember that 95 Super Bowl with Neil O'Donnell.
Sure.
And Neil O'Donnell throwing that interception. We could have won that game. But I'm telling you, America's kicked him for long enough. He's been at the butt of the jokes for a long, long time.
Butt of the jokes, he's like the 0.0001% of this world. But, Sean, I get your point. Thank you so much for calling. Thank you for the compliment. I think it's the Cowboys and the Yankees that get asked the most about their droughts. Definitely. Like, you come into any season, it's like, when are you going to win? When are you going to win? We don't do that with all teams that haven't won in a long time.
Yankees probably Cowboys a little more so because it's longer, 15 years longer. And the Yankees, but the Yankees, correct me if I'm wrong here, they cut back on spending a little bit. If they had been the evil empire and just really, really been number one in spending, it would be different.
Well, that's because the Dodgers are operating, and the Mets now are operating in like a totally different universe. But the Yankees still spend.
They still spend, but there were years where the Red Sox outspent them.
Yeah,
there were years
the
Phillies outspent them. So it's different. Right around 2003-04, when they had that high payroll and didn't win, that was a drought. By the way, did you say drought breaker because you didn't want to say drought buster because we all know what that means?
So women don't have that kind of saying in our
Is that
our,
we
like,
don't have
everyday.
droughts?
Well, yeah, we don't have to work as hard.
Right, because if you just want to, you can.
Yeah, I've never heard a woman just being like, man, that's just real. Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah. It's generally not one of our big things. I got 99 problems. That's not one, I guess, is how I would put this if Jay-Z was going to be writing this. I know what a drought buster is. I have been staying away from that.
Because if we say it's the year of the drought buster, that'll bring up.
It means Manny's time is coming.
Wow. There we go.
Welcome
there
back.
we have it. Boom.
This is only going to further fuel people thinking Manny and I have some kind of beef. Couldn't be further from the truth.
What the hell did I do to you? Why are you so mean to me?
I'm inviting you on the next vacation.
I'm going to probably get bullied the entire time.
Yeah, my family's kind of merciless. You might not want to come. No, I've been not calling it a drought buster, but women don't have that. That's a men thing. That's a man thing.
Yeah. Yeah. What?
Actually, don't you guys call them slump busters?
Same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, slump buster. That's a more acceptable. But it's the year of the drought buster. Just now that I'm thinking about it.
And then all of a sudden our show's walking in like John Travolta at the beginning of Saturday Night Fever, just like a little pep in our step.
The guy who does all our artwork, Kaplan, would be like, the year of the drought buster. I don't know what I'm going to do here and get away with it.
Just have everyone grinning, very big, wide smiles.
That's not what I was thinking. I was thinking
something else.
Yeah. Can you paint a C- for me here?
What?
What?
Oh my God. Wow. Just a bag over her head? Jeez, Pearl. Oh, man.
That's what we're talking about here, right?
The year of the drought breaker. Because Rory
The drought
won.
breaker.
Yeah. Doesn't hit the same.
Doesn't.
No.
Yeah.
Nope.
Drought buster.
Okay.
Yep.
Did Rory shed the choker label forever is what it says here on the sheet. And that's what we're going to talk about.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining.
Tampa Bay loves the city, come what may. Switching lanes, no time to waste. Live a life at an infinite pace. Maggie and Perloff on the radio. Infinity Sports, they steal the show. Talking stats, they know the game. Turn up the volume, let your passion flame. Day by days on the grind. Fix it, take issues one at a time. But when the sun sets, he finds his groove. Live streams on Twitch, making moves. Otis Miller, Tampa Bay loves the city, come what may. Switching lanes, no time to waste.
Andrew Perloff's got a tale to tell. Thinks he's an Aussie, but you can never tell. Tries to talk like he's from down under, but his accent's thunder. Oh, what a wonder. Andrew made you belong at the Outback. Not living in the bush, but serving up a snack. Your G-Day sounds more like G9. At the Outback Steakhouse, you'd be just right.
Maggie woke up, felt a change in the air. Reached for his razor, didn't have a care. He shaved it off, that iconic mustache. Now he's just a face, lost in the mask.
Andrew Perloff, he's got an ankle that's tricky. Milky white, it hurts, sometimes it's quite picky. Bug bites here and there, make it itch and twitch. Got him looking like he's doing a funny little hitch. Oh, Perloff's ankle, what a show you put on. Twisting and turning from dusk till dawn. We laugh and we cheer as you do your dance. Andrew's ankle, you never miss a chance. His ankle's like a magnet for every bug in town. Mosquitoes have a party, won't leave him alone now. Red and bumpy, itching all night long. Andrew's ankle's got a bitey little song. Oh, Perloff's ankle, what a show you put on. Twisting and turning from dusk till dawn. We laugh and we cheer as you do your dance. Andrew's ankle, you never miss a chance.
1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Rory steps in. Can he do it? Rory looks at the hole. Putter back and through. And he missed on the left. He missed on the left. It's only a foot away. It should be no problem, but he's got to keep his focus as we look to a playoff here in the 89th Masters.
Thank you to Mike Tirico and SiriusXM. That's when we thought it was all going south for Rory McIlroy yet again. But lo and behold, he gets to the playoff and he wins it. Finally, he gets his first Masters and breaks his majors drought. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. It was a crazy scene. I think it had to happen this way. If Rory had just cruised to his first Masters title and just won by 5 strokes, it does not have nearly the drama. It still would have felt good for Rory, but a dominant win is not what we're used to with him. Quite frankly, we needed these ups and downs, and there were a lot of them.
Yes, but if he had won it in dominant fashion, I think that would have created a different narrative that, wow, this guy is really, he's had a great year. This is one of the elite golfers of all time. Now there's still a little bit of asterisk that he does tend to miss big shots.
But you think even now joining people like Tiger Woods and Ben Hogan and Jack Nicklaus and Gary Player and Gene Sarazen, the only guys who have ever completed the career slam, you don't think that's good enough to put him in the inner circle?
It's definitely good enough, but if he had just stormed to the win last night, don't you think we'd be talking about him a little bit differently? There'd be no negative in there. They'd be like, wow, dominant Rory. That would be the storyline. I
think this win was so emotional that it's almost like double, It's like he had to overcome all of this, basically just almost handing the tournament, and giving it away. He said at one point afterwards, I almost walked away from history, and instead he steadied himself, had to go to a playoff and grabbed it. And I think what the interesting thing, you're welcome to call in about Rory, by the way, at 888-710-4ISN. And if you are looking for us on Sirius, we were just talking about SiriusXM with Mike Tirico on the call. We are on a new channel, 375 is where you can find us on SiriusXM. But here's the thing. Now Rory's done it. And I'm not trying to turn the page on Rory right away, but if you're asking me who's the next person who I think the sports world would have this like emotion about and who we would all kind of feel like we felt, good for the person.
He or she finally got
Finally won. There's one person in sports right now.
Okay.
There's one person who would have this kind of a reaction like people had yesterday. EJ getting emotional about Rory McIlroy, and EJ watches 5 holes of golf a year. There is one person who has also experienced the devastating heartbreak. And when they do finally win, which I think they will, it will be this outpouring of emotion and everything. And the one person is Kyle Shanahan.
Oh, my God.
You cannot replicate the kind of losses that Kyle Shanahan has had as a head coach and as an offensive coordinator. You go back to 28-3 when he was the Falcons offensive coordinator. He's blown 2 Super Bowls, one in overtime, the other when he had a lead in the fourth quarter. This is like Andy Reid when he finally won with Kansas City. People were crazy over the moon for him. Shanahan is the one guy, love him, hate him, whatever. He will be the outpouring of emotion.
Everyone in the room thought you were going to say Josh Allen, I think. Everyone in America thought you were about to say Josh. You're a Bills fan. What are you talking about Kyle Shanahan? When Josh Allen wins, wildly popular Josh Allen, just like Rory McIlroy, nobody likes Kyle Shanahan.
But it will be that so close. Josh hasn't even been to a Super Bowl yet. By the way, Lamar Jackson should be feeling a lot more pressure than Josh right now. Josh has one MVP. Lamar's got 2.
I was ready to argue, how can you say Josh Allen when you say Lamar Jackson? I did not expect Kyle Shanahan.
Kyle Shanahan is the answer. He's the tortured guy in sports now that Rory has got the monkey off his back.
I think Josh Allen, though, because the popularity is closer to Rory. High-selling jersey, kind of like Rory. I wouldn't say he's a singular force in the sport. I'm not sure Rory is either. But I think Josh Allen with Lamar right behind him, because I think Josh Allen's a little more popular. I'm wrong. I just think I see a lot of Josh Allen jerseys where, I don't know, Josh is out there a little more. I feel like Lamar just disappears the entire offseason and does his own thing. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
I mean, Josh's got a famous fiance now. We're going to go through the whole wedding thing with Haley Steinfeld. I don't know.
They're both in the same thing, but Kyle's a little different. I don't remember being that excited about Andy Reid breaking through. I feel like
that was such a big deal.
But I remember Elway breaking through. When the player does it, because the player is actually on the field, I think it's a bigger deal. Like Kyle Shanahan can't go out there and throw the ball and catch the ball.
It was a big deal when Bill Cowher won. That was huge.
That was a big deal.
His daughters came on the field, and they were adult daughters.
Like Elway, though? Elway was gigantic.
Elway might be number 1. So I kind of put him in a different category. I just think in terms of the bigger monkey up the back moments, if you think about coaches who kind of lived up to almost a player aspect, I think Andy Reid is one. But Bill Cowher, I remember that one was like...
That was a really big deal, too.
Yeah, because you talk about a guy coming up just short. Like, that guy came up short a bunch to Bill Belichick and losing the AFC Championship game and stuff.
See, I think Elway is a different kind of thing to me. Yes, could probably be number 1. We're talking about guys who have got an all-time monkey off their back, and we're asking who's the next guy who's going to get the monkey off their back. Elway was the chosen one, huge prospects, generational talent, all of that, then lost the Super Bowls and then finally won. Mm-hmm. Shanahan, to me, it's like the pain of Rory. The same pain. Not that Elway didn't have pain. And again, he could probably be the number 1 thing on this list. But if you're asking me who's next, he's got that same pain as Rory. Like, everyone thinks Kyle Shanahan's a great coach, right? Everyone thinks that if he was a free agent today, how many teams would fire their coach on the spot to get Kyle Shanahan? Yet he has these gigantic, huge, blown opportunities on the biggest stages. Like,
who's that remind you of? Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson.
It could be them
those
too.
2 guys. I think those guys are put a little bit ahead. It's just the player over the coach.
Yeah,
that's the only reason I say that.
I mean, here's the thing about Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. They haven't even gotten to Super Bowls yet,
Right.
We got a far way to go here.
Right, but they were battling with the Chiefs till the very end, so it feels like a Super Bowl. I mean, the AFC title game, the 13-second game, that was a divisional round, right? That wasn't even it might as well have been a Super Bowl because whoever won that game was about to go on a roll. The Chiefs won that year, right? Or did they? Yeah. So I think it's the same kind of vibe where Shanahan. Also, the other thing about Shanahan, he comes off as I'm smarter than everybody. So I don't think Shanahan has the public support that Rory has, or Josh Allen has, or Lamar Jackson has. I think people liked Elway. People rooted for Elway. Shanahan, I don't think has a lot of fans who are Kyle Shanahan fans.
Oh, interesting. Also, no, 13 seconds game. The Chiefs did not win that year. That was the year. That was the year the Bengals won.
Yes. Oh, okay.
So that's what every Bills fan is scarred because you think that
they
was
that
the
beaten
best.
The Bengals, right?
I think they would have beat the Bengals, and I think they would have beaten the Rams. And we're never going to know.
But by the way, yeah, you're right. Because the way the Bills play, they definitely would have knocked out Joe Burrow and Aaron Donald. Those guys weren't good.
Yeah, listen, Joe Burrow has already gone into Buffalo.
He beat them the next year.
Yeah, he did. Listen, again, I think that Allen, it's like right now, it's so much about him with Mahomes, right? It's like, to me, it's like so their rivalry. It's almost like he's got to prove he can just get past that before we're even talking about Super Bowl. We're talking about who's the next person in sports to get the monkey off their back, like Rory McIlroy did yesterday and finally breaking his majors drought and winning a Masters. I think it's Kyle Shanahan because of the heartache. Now, you want to say one of the players on the 49ers who maybe embodies this, but Shanahan goes back to that loss with the Falcons to the Patriots in the Super Bowl. That's the all-time choke.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but he wasn't even the head coach for that. A little different. I don't know. I just
Sticks
think
more to Shanahan than Dan Quinn.
Just the way we talk about players, it's a little different.
I think it's Lamar Jackson, guys. I think there's a difference between him and Josh Allen because
2 MVPs versus 1.
Because I think with Josh Allen, especially for recently, we feel like he has played well in these games and his team has come up short. It hasn't necessarily always been his fault. I feel like with Lamar Jackson, the conversation often, he played terrible, and that's why his team lost. He wears the losses of the Ravens in the playoffs, I think, way more than Josh Allen does. And I think that's why when it comes to being a monkey on the back, it feels like, you know what, it's got to be Lamar. He's got to get him over the hump. How many times we come on this show or listen to any show, we're like, that idiot Sean McDermott screwed him again because he doesn't know how to call a timeout, doesn't know. We always blame it on someone else. And a lot of times it's fair because a lot of times Josh Allen, 13 seconds, he played phenomenal. He had some great games. Stephon Diggs drops the ball. Like, guys miss field goals. Like, Lamar had the first time where a guy dropped the ball, and maybe this was the first time with Mark Andrews, but most of the time, Lamar just hasn't played well in these games.
Well, he played pretty well this game.
That's what I said. This year was the first one.
This year was Mark Andrews.
But even this one, you were like, well, it was cold outside. Like, and like, you know, he couldn't play in the cold. And then it became a thing like, is Lamar, he can't play in the cold weather? Like, I think that he still carries this thing that for some reason he's not good enough to get over the hump. Where I think with Josh, it's, well, Buffalo is never going to be good to get over the hump.
Well, I think honestly, I don't think Lamar is. I'm looking at his playoff history. It's been okay. He got hurt in that Buffalo game. Didn't get knocked out, and Tyrod Taylor had to come in.
This is 3
I'm
years
just talking about,
ago.
like, he doesn't have that many bad losses. Yeah, I mean, he lost to the Chiefs. He played pretty badly. But even that game, that was
Chiefs,
more
he was terrible. He was terrible against Tennessee.
Flowers.
He was terrible against Tennessee. He was terrible against San Diego his first year. He was terrible against, the Buffalo game. I know you're saying that you gave him a break. He was bad in that first half.
The first half, he was bad.
Yeah, he is not. I mean, I support Lamar Jackson. Saying that he's a playoff choker is fair at this point in his career.
I think the one thing about Josh is maybe we don't give him enough blame at times.
Sure.
You know, again, he's got the ball in his hands. Not the Stephon Diggs. He dropped that ball. That was not good. But, you know, he's got the ball in his hands in this last AFC Championship game and couldn't get past the 50-yard line. I mean, there's a lot there. We're asking, so who's the next person to get the monkey off their back now that Rory McIlroy has done it?
You know, there are a lot of other sports, too. I mean, I was looking at baseball. Trout has obviously not even come close, so I don't know if he qualifies.
No,
Aaron Judge hasn't won.
Aaron Judge now with the multiple MVPs. He's been to multiple ALCSs and then the World Series last year. And add on top of it, Manny, close your ears, Yankee fan.
Not again.
For as good as Judge is, Stanton was better in the postseason.
Yeah.
And it was his dropped ball in center field, which he never does. The guy's great outfielder. That started that fifth inning from hell for the Yankees.
Yeah, but I mean, were they going to win that series anyway?
I'm just saying.
Right. But he's had some issues even, and that wasn't the first time defensively there was an issue with him. Remember a couple years ago with Bader in the outfield where they don't call the ball and they run into each other, and that sparked a big inning for the Astros that also got them eliminated. So Judge, similar to Lamar Jackson, not played well in the postseason.
Right.
So it's not just your team didn't play well. It's you're the reason why they didn't get to where they were supposed to go.
May I throw another name at you guys?
Yeah, go ahead.
Cristiano Ronaldo. Lionel Messi has his World Cup now, and there's been this rivalry between Messi and Ronaldo for decades now, and Ronaldo still doesn't have his World Cup, so maybe 2026 will be Portugal's year.
That's a great one. Do people blame Ronaldo, though, or do they just say Portugal doesn't have as stacked of a roster as Argentina?
That's another thing. The talent around Cristiano Ronaldo has never really materialized into what it should be.
Does he have other titles, too?
He's got many Champions League. He's also won the European Championship. So, he does have trophies in his trophy case. However, the World Cup is still the one that's missing, and the guy, his biggest rival for all of his career, has one of those.
That's a great one. Because that feels very Rory-esque, too, because he actually is a winner, but just is missing this kind of one big thing. Let's go to Derek, who's in Baltimore. Derek, we're talking about people and teams breaking droughts. This could be the year of it. Who do you got for us?
Maggie, you took my answer. So, look, you did what you didn't, so I'm a Niners fan. I was going to say the 49ers because it's been since 94.
And 3 Super Bowl losses in that time.
Right. So I didn't become a fan till 99. That's when I started watching football. I've never seen this team win the Super Bowl as a fan. And Shanahan, you guys said, who don't like Shanahan? I don't like Shanahan. He is the biggest choker. This dude, listen, you talk about heartbreak. Against the Chiefs the first time, under 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter, up 10, and we got the ball.
Yep.
How do you lose that Super Bowl? Even the second one we just lost, 2 seasons ago? a 10-point lead. I get it. It was in the first quarter. But still, he is the biggest choker. But the drought has to be San Francisco. It's been since 94.
I will tell you one thing,
my God.
Derek. My Eagles were up 10 on the Chiefs at halftime, and Mahomes was dead injured, and they killed us in Glendale a couple years ago. So Mahomes plays a little. Mahomes plays a little part of this.
But here's the thing. Okay, with Philly, I get it. It was at half, but that was like a young Sirianni. Shanahan is supposed to be this offensive genius who, for like 10 years, people have said, oh, he's this, he's that. And Maggie, you say the same thing that everyone else has said. If he gets fired, there'll be people lined up to get him. Good. Let him be someone else's choker. let Shanahan go to another team so that fan base can experience what I have experienced for years, even in 2021 NFC Championship game. Up 10 in the fourth quarter against the Rams. And we choked. Oh my gosh, man.
Derek, I don't want to get you all riled up here on a Monday on your week to get started off right. But this is, again, this is why I think that Shanahan is now the next up with the monkey on his back because of all the stuff you're talking about, all the fourth quarter leads, all the blown leads, whether it was the Super Bowl, whether it was the NFC Championship game. He's got more scar tissue than any of the players.
But here's the thing, like Roy, yesterday, there were people who were rooting, not against Roy, but they were rooting for other people. They were emotional for Roy.
Yeah.
The only ones that's going to be emotional for Shanahan are Niner fans. And it's not going to be for Shanahan. It's going to be because we finally got a ring. So listen, I'm going to be the first to tell you, if in my lifetime, if I live to see us win a ring, I'm going to boo-hoo, cry my eyes out. Not one tear will be for Shanahan. It is going to be for the heartbreak of 2011, 2012, 2013, 2019, all those years. Shanahan walks around like he is like God's gift to football. There will be no, put it like this, if people want to see the Niners win, it won't be because of Shanahan. It'll be because of Kittle, if anything, maybe Fred Warner, or finally Christian McCaffrey if he's still on the team.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
It will not be for Shanahan, who has blown. Oh my Lord, have mercy.
Derek, thank you for the call, man. I feel for you. We're deep into the NFL offseason right now. Drafts in a couple weeks, and I'm like excited now for 49er football, just so Derek can erase that bad taste.
Well, unfortunately, it doesn't seem like they're headed in the right direction on that one.
We'll see. I mean, that Purdy deal get done when I was on vacation?
Well, I don't think so. They definitely have a better chance if they don't sign that Purdy deal, right? Because they had to lose all those guys.
It's a fair point. I think people were actually happy for Andy Reid because I think he is a bit more likable person than Kyle Shanahan, at least the public. We had someone call in earlier, the Toronto Maple Leafs. That would be a really big drought buster for our friends in Toronto, and they've been long suffering. But as far as individual players, individual people, to me, I think it is Shanahan, although he's not super popular.
Right. I mean, I think you have to take the Rory-ness into it. Who's closest to Rory? And I think Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson are the two best. I think there's probably, is Luka qualify as this? He's a little young. 26.
Been to one finals.
One final, kind of.
Really got beat in that one.
Yeah. I mean,
does Luka
Joker
count yet? I don't
Joker
think so.
would have been one of those guys, but he got through.
Joker and Giannis both
were
dealing with that same kind of pressure. I think Aaron Judge is a good one.
Judge is a great one. I think if you're talking NBA, I think it's James Harden. I think you talk about a guy labeled as a playoff choker.
Jimmy.
He's number one.
Harden has earned that.
Yeah.
Just like Rory was earning it.
Just like I think Lamar's earned it.
Harden is definitely known as a playoff choker. His game sixes and game sevens are atrocious.
I hear you. Yeah. I think we were talking about Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Rory McIlroy, James Harden. Who doesn't fit into that group right there?
Well, but to
James
EJ's
Harden
point,
100% fits in that group.
Yeah, I think he does.
No way.
He's an MVP. What are you talking about?
The dumbest MVP of all time.
But here's the thing. I think where EJ's onto something, which is how much James Harden's reputation would change if he won.
Right.
Yeah, I know. You know what? If I all of a sudden picked up golf tomorrow and beat Rory at the PGA, my reputation would change. That's just about as likely.
James Harden's going to walk into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he might. So did Carmelo. Is that the career you want?
Hold on now.
Where's Carmelo? Where's this slander coming from?
Can I give you another
great
one?
scorers who obviously had no chance of winning a title because they
You
were
say he had
ball
no
hogs.
chance, but he
Got to Western
took the
Conference
Warriors to
Finals.
Game 7. He's taken the Warriors to the conference finals multiple times. We keep acting like James Harden was getting bounced out of the first round of the playoffs every year, getting swept.
You mean the Rockets?
Sure, yeah, James Harden, wherever team he was on, the Rockets, other teams he's been on, like he's been close. And he's been the reason why they've gotten that far. And they keep coming up short, and he's having these terrible Game 7s.
Right.
And these terrible games where the team has a chance to maybe make that finals.
I'm well aware of James Harden's history.
Right, yeah. I think you're being a little biased. I think that's what you don't want to realize. Harden is one of the greatest players of his generation.
Is in that category. Can I give you another coach? This one's gonna chap EJ a little bit.
Tom
Mark
Thibodeau.
Mark Few.
That's my pick.
I mean, talk about getting the monkey off your back, and we talking about Rory McIlroy did it yesterday. I mean, Mark Few, all these teams playing that easy Gonzaga schedule most years, then getting to the tournament, having NBA players, all the things, and not being able to win.
I think with Few too, he has in some ways it's similar to Josh Allen, which I agree with Pearl on this point. He has the Rory McIlroy effect, where I feel like everyone would be very happy if Mark Few won a championship. I think he had a really
Probably
bad,
more than Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, he had a bad DUI moment that I think most people don't even remember. But besides that, and Maggie declares them because she just shook her head. But I think most people think of Mark Few as one of the good guys in college basketball, whether that exists or not. So I think there's like, oh, Mark Few, good guy, good program. His team always plays, the right way, so to speak. And the fact that he hasn't won, he's never been a guy against the media or against the fans. He's built a great program. I think if he won, you'd be like, wow, like, okay, that guy we saw keep coming up short. You'd feel good for him that he won.
Finally won.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be, he's not quite as, we're talking like the stratosphere of popularity with Nico. I'm sorry, not Nico, I'm on Nico. Rory and Josh Allen. I don't think Mark Few's in that same conversation.
Not popularity, I agree with that.
Like, that's the thing. Like, we're talking about Rory. We're talking about Aaron Judge, Josh Allen. These are GOATs, you know. These are first ballot, high level Hall of Famers. So it's kind of hard. That's why Elway fit this, because if Elway was just some normal quarterback, then it wouldn't have been as big a deal. But the fact that he was an all timer who couldn't get through. So I think we have to reserve this, be pretty careful.
Sure. 888-710-4ISN. Okay, Rory McIlroy has the monkey off his back. Who's the next person in sports who needs to have a similar W? Who needs to do this and get this done to change how people view them? Again, 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. On Mondays, we do the M&P 500. Whose stock is up, whose stock is down. We will do that next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
The M&P 500 on the Infinity Sports Network.
All right, every Monday we do stock up, stock down in the world of sports, the M&P 500. Maggie, why don't you get us started?
Okay, I think Rory's probably the no-brainer here. It seems a little too obvious. Of course, Rory McIlroy wins the Masters yesterday, his stock up. So I'm going to go to something a little less obvious, and I'm going to say stock up on Shedeur Sanders draft stock. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I still think he's alive for, I know Adam Schefter would disagree with me, but I think Cleveland's still alive. I think the Giants are still alive, and now definitely the New Orleans Saints after the question marks around Derek Carr's shoulder. We get more into this tomorrow, but I don't see how Shedeur has fallen out of the top 10. The Saints pick 9th. So I think all that talk about Shedeur is even a first-round pick, mid-first round, late first round. I think his draft stock goes up because of that Derek Carr injury.
Yeah, still right below that 8.5 line.
I know, that's where the betting line is, right? They're so good at this.
I don't know if it moved at all. There are some rumors that the Saints are infatuated with Jackson Dart, too. Possible Dart jump Sanders. I doubt it.
What I would do if I were the Saints, though, and we can talk probably more about this tomorrow, but I would tank for Arch. I know you don't think Arch is necessarily coming out but next year, but hometown guy, it'd be epic. Saints could probably be really, really bad this year if Carr doesn't play.
I don't know. They got a lot of old guys, though. Don't they?
Trade him off at the deadline. Trade Cam Jordan at the deadline to the Rams or something. I don't know.
Also, you're in the tank in the NFC South is a Herculean tank.
Yeah, you do have to really commit to the bid.
I don't know how you could possibly do that. They still have Kamara. They still have Olave for now. Yeah, they have too many old guys. Demario Davis, our favorite Super Bowl interview. Okay.
What a gentleman.
I will go with, I was going to go NBA, but I want to go back to Nick Dunlap. Nick Dunlap shot, this is my stock up. He was 18 over in his opening round of the Masters, which would be stocked out. Yeah, it's the all-time worst record. There was a worse one, but the guy never handed in his scorecard. He came back.
I wouldn't either.
He came back the next day and shot a 71 on Friday. So he finished 17 over, but to have the ability to come back from the worst round in Masters history and to go under par, that's pretty crazy, right? Don't you give that kid a lot of credit?
I do. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, he's a promising golfer, too.
But also at that point, you got nothing to lose. You just scored so bad. You're free. It's like, well, it can't get any worse, right?
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that's a good point. I thought you would get so down on yourself that you'd lose your swing altogether.
It's possible.
By the way, that guy's he's going to be a superstar anyway, so we don't have to worry about him. He's very, very young. He'll probably make millions of dollars. But that's pretty good. Okay, stock down.
Okay, if the stock goes up, that means the stock goes down, and boy, don't we know that. But this was from yesterday. So the Tigers are playing the Twins, and this is what it sounded like for Jose Miranda, who was called safe but thought he was out.
Cute on the ground at first. Torkelson will play it. It's a 2nd for 1, the return throw, and will not be. Oh, now they're going to say Miranda was safe, but then came off the bag and was tagged out by Keith.
Was thinking about turning 2, was looking to see the pitcher covering.
100% the right call by Moore. Yeah, Miranda never even got to the bag.
He just walked away from the bag, and this is why it's stocked down. All right, mental error, Jose Miranda. He was optioned to AAA after the game. Ouch. That is a terrible mistake to make, and then they just basically got him right up out of there. So that's a stock down.
Get ready to learn St. Paul, buddy.
He can.
Good thing it's right across the river.
Meanwhile, the Twins lost. They're 4-11 on the season.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah. Anyway, so there you go. That's a little stock down. You got to pay attention to the umpire.
I'll do my stock down, the Warriors. So the Warriors lost yesterday to the Clippers, and now are in the play-in. What's the stat? Are they 0-3? You said earlier in the show. They're 0-3 in the play-in. Like, this could go drastically wrong for the Warriors. I'm a little bit worried about them. You saw some vulnerabilities in this game last night. Like, they're good, but they do not look elite enough where they can screw around. I'm a little worried that they're going to find out here.
I'm thinking this is like a little like Rory's last round where it has to be maximum drama.
Got it.
You got to lose to the Clippers in overtime in the 82nd game of the season, and then you got to play your way from the play-in tournament to the finals. That's what I'm thinking. The Warriors just need to amp up the drama.
Yeah, I feel like, and you saw Zubac had a big game, like height could be a problem for this Warriors team, which has been on and off for the last 4 or 5 years. I kind of want them as a fan to see them advance a little further. You want to see Curry.
No doubt.
I'm worried it's not going to happen this year. All right, what else you got?
Well, I've got another stock down because I'm going to call myself out on this one.
Okay.
So you guys know I was on vacation. Manny, I was in Mexico. And
Are you sure?
We had such a fantastic time. And when you get one of those really, really great vacations and everything was just going swimmingly. It was my family. And we were at this, resort where the thing was buffets. Almost everything was a buffet. So the final night, we're having our we do like one like really nice dinner. So we're doing this nice dinner at the steakhouse, but they still had like a salad bar, like a mini buffet, like a appetizer buffet.
Love that.
The best. Rekindled my love of buffets this trip. So there's a plate of grilled peppers on the buffet. Just sitting there with all the other stuff.
What kind of peppers?
Well, that's a great question. I'm so glad you asked,
Maggie.
Bro. Because I think I'm a little used to America.
Oh, no.
Where
shishito peppers?
But I thought
delicious.
maybe it was a shishito pepper. A shishito pepper.
Yeah, one of those.
One of those peppers.
Sure.
So I take a couple of these peppers. Manny already knows where this is going.
Oh, God, man.
And I put it on my plate, and we're having our nice appetizers and, all that. And I take this pepper, and I just remove the stem, and the thing's probably about an inch, maybe, inch and a half of a pepper. And I put the entire thing in my mouth, and I swallow it.
Oh.
It was a habanero.
Yeah.
And guys, I'm not going to give you any more details after that. But just to let you know, I'd never eaten anything that spicy. So it was the seeds, the habanero
the
pepper.
seeds are the worst part, right? That's
everything. And I ate it in one bite.
Like a lady.
Like the lady that I am, the classy broad that I am. And when I tell you, obviously it's immediate. And it's like, oh no. And my brother is there, my older brother Jeff, had just said, you got to muscle through.
So did you drink milk? What'd you do?
We did have some milk at the table because luckily we have some children at the table. We just happen to have milk.
Lucas saved your life.
Yeah, Lucas and my niece Bella. But it was, it starts in your mouth and it makes it numb.
It's a thrilling experience.
But it doesn't stop there.
Well, I mean, I think we all know where this ends, and
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
think
not
we're
telling
going to
you.
discuss that
Okay,
part.
no, I'm not going to tell you. I'm
That-
going to tell you it's a miracle I didn't end up in a Cancun hospital. Just put it that way. But so here's the question I have, though. So it was a plate of habanero peppers on a buffet. It was not labeled.
Yeah.
Whose
but
bad
like
is
little
this?
1-inch red.
No, it's like this. It was like 2 inches. It was
2
big. I
inches.
actually have the photos.
Oh,
I'll put
okay.
them on social media. You can see the plate of peppers. My mom took a picture.
What color are they?
I'll show you.
Are they
orange, right?
Red or orange?
Well, were they were they roasted?
Yeah, they're like grilled. So like this is what they look like. And these are all habaneros.
I
They're
would have
big.
no. They just,
They
those
don't
two-
look
let me
like
see.
it.
Sorry.
So I looked up the Scoville meter, which is
Yeah.
how you rank hot things. And it's like, okay, a jalapeno is between 2,500 and 10,000. The habanero is 100,000 to 350,000. I ate the whole pepper with the seeds, the whole deal, and not a piece of it. I ate the whole freaking thing in one bite and
it was a
almost
popper.
died in a.
Congratulations, Maggie. That's how you get baptized in Mexico.
Thank you. You know, I've never done ayahuasca like Aaron Rodgers,
Sure,
but I
yeah.
kind of get it now. I kind of had like a life-altering experience. with this
habanero,
pepper.
ayahuasca, same thing.
I felt like it was
So
crazy.
I feel like
These are definitely not spicy peppers. I have no idea what you're talking about here.
Yeah.
These are
Wouldn't you have taken one of
These
those?
are clear. Well, I wonder if maybe somebody told you they were habanero. That you actually ate a shishito pepper and thought you were dying.
It'd be
These are
impossible.
not jalapenos.
All right, let's assume.
I mean,
No,
these
if
are
they're
not habanero.
jalapenos. I eat jalapenos
These
all the
are not
time.
dangerous. These are not dangerous peppers.
Do you think I made it up?
Maybe
It'd be impossible.
That long green one is. There's no way that's
I
a
ate
dangerous
one of
pepper.
the small yellow ones. This is what I ate here.
Yeah.
The small yellow one.
So
that would do it.
Yeah, that would do it. And I'll believe your story, unlike Perloff.
I don't. Yeah, I think
Who
that.
fades the story? How could I ever? Why would I ever publicly share this if
I think
it
you're
was fake?
super soft on spices. You ate a medium spicy pepper and thought it was the end of the world.
I had been in Mexico for days. I was eating jalapenos with my breakfast.
She also handled tuna green jello. Like, I trust her fortitude in this area. Like, this hits you. I get it.
Oh, I'm from upstate New York.
Yeah.
They put Frank's Red Hot in our baby bottles.
So I think there's like 60-40 their fault. There should have been a sign. You probably shouldn't in Mexico have just eaten something that you didn't
Right.
know what it was, pepper-wise.
I couldn't tell. So like, who to blame? Because like, I felt like the idiot. I mean, I took this one on the chin.
Those
this
look
was bad.
so. Those do not
They
look.
look
like,
and my mom.
They look
though,
totally harmless.
My family had my back. They were like, no, they should definitely be labeled. This is a tourists. Obviously, we're not in some small restaurant in Jalisco or something like that.
In Guadalajara.
We're in Cancun. Like, it's all gringos there, and other tourists.
We'll see.
It's crazy just have habaneros just sitting there. I'll be real.
It was rough.
That,
rough
no
time,
label.
guys.
That's wild.
I'm just like, I'm over it, but like, I'm also like, I'm past it. I'm not over it. Like, I'll never be over it.
That's the one.
Like, ever.
Yeah,
Like, I had a life-altering experience.
I'm looking at the picture. That's definitely a habanero.
Thank
No.
you.
But that's definitely a shishito right
No,
next to
Perloff
it.
changed his
That
mind.
is
That never happens.
100%.
My bad. I took the wrong bite.
There's at least 15 shishito peppers right there too. Those are harmless.
I'm gonna tweet it
Why'd
out.
you go with the orange one?
I don't know, because I just thought they were all the same.
Oh, no.
Did you make a big deal of eating it? Like, did you hold it by the stem and eat it? And like,
But the best part is I ate it and I realized, like, oh no, something
Yeah.
bad has happened right as the waiter takes the photo, like we had like the family photo. Like everyone, and I'm just crying at
Tres,
first.
dos, uno, smile.
I crawled to the. Anyway, I'm not going to tell you any of the details except for I'm forever changed, altered. The Maggie that left is not the Maggie that returned, and that's
you
where
traveled home in that aftermath?
It was our last night.
So the next day, coming
The next
home,
day-
you were
I
not
mean,
great.
It was 24 hours of pure hell. Anyway,
Really?
guys, check the buffet.
Wait. What was the next? What do you mean it's 24 hours? Like,
So the first 30 minutes were actually pure hell.
right. That's bad.
And then it kind of stays with you in this weird way. Because there's also an embarrassing part of it too. Like there's a huge, I'm with my family, so that's fine. I'm sharing it all with you guys now. But like it's a humbling experience. Put it that way.
Okay, but the pain didn't last for 24 hours. Then you get
the
second
exit's
wave
not
of
fun.
pain. The second wave of
but
pain.
it's just like it kind of sits a little
Yes.
bit.
But that's
you
what I was
know?
wondering. Did it upset your stomach really bad?
Yes.
Oh, y'all are
Spell
soft.
it.
Anywho, so that was a little
That
about my
really
vacation.
upset your stomach? You're soft.
My everything.
That's weak sauce, Maggie.
I feel like my hair and nails are different. Like I don't know. Everything's different about me. I'm just not the same. All right, let's take a quick break. Bogusch will come back with headlines for us, and that was a little M&P 500. Have you ever eaten a habanero, and was it on the restaurant or is it on me to know how hot this pepper was? It's M&P.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Using your phone while you're driving could kill someone. Put the phone away or pay. Paid for by NHTSA. Maggie, I had a story yesterday coming back from Philadelphia, and I like to drive. I do not like when someone else is driving in the car. I feel like I have more control. Also, I'm responsible to the kids if I'm not driving, so it's a way to sort of zone out. But yesterday, I had to have my wife drive because I was trying to follow the Masters on my phone, and I did not want to risk it. I did not want to be tempted by the phone sitting there. It was kind of getting a little late on Sunday. It was Sunday afternoon. So it was a good example of, listen, I want to drive, but I'm going to be smart about it.
That's great. See, you're supposed to put the phone down.
Yes.
And if you want to watch the Masters, then let Sarah take the wheel and you'll be better off for it. Then you have to worry.
Yeah. Got home it got really good. Got home when Rory was on the 10th hole. But it was a great experience. But again, no temptation at all. Was really smart about it. I know, and you listened on the radio a little bit.
I was listening on the radio. I listened to a little Masters radio yesterday because I was driving also, and I was also tempted to put on, one of the streaming services and just sort of have it on. And I'm like, I can't do this. I got my kid in the back seat and myself and everyone else on the road, and I just wanted to be as responsible as I could. So I heard the hushed tones of Masters radio.
Another reason radio is awesome.
And that is true. Okay, we have to get to some headlines here. Bogusch is here because my story about eating a whole habanero on my vacation unsuspectingly took up a little too much time.
Yeah, and it looked, I guess, maybe like Rory was dealing with hot peppers during the final round of the Masters yesterday. But it wasn't enough struggles to have Bryson DeChambeau take advantage. He carded a 3/75 in the final round to drop to 7 under, 4 shots out of the playoff that Rory eventually won.
If I just had somewhat a good iron play this week, it would have been a lot different outcome. But coulda, shoulda, wouldas. You got to do it out here and take a lot of good from this week. I'm excited for the rest of my life.
So at least he's got that going for him.
I didn't see that coming. I saw what he said about the irons. That he didn't say I'm excited for the rest of the season.
No, rest of my life, the next 70-ish years.
I'm excited for the rest of my life.
That was on CBS, I believe.
Kind of amazing. Usually you sound kind of like a jerk when you say that stuff, kind of like implying like I'm Bryson DeChambeau and you're not, and my life's going to be awesome because I'm rich.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like he was just searching there.
It almost sounded, it reminds me a little bit of Forgetting Sarah Marshall, where Jonah Hill asks Russell Brand again if he's listened to his demo, and he's like, I was going to, but I just kept living my life.
Yeah, right.
It's a little dismissive like that. DeChambeau could only watch Rory birdie 18 to beat Justin Rose in that playoff, the first at the Masters in 8 years. It ends McIlroy's 11-year search for the career Grand Slam. He is the 6th ever now to win all 4 majors. Seeds 4 through 10 unsettled on the final day of the NBA regular season. A good team or two was going to end up in the play-in out west. The Warriors, one of them, falling at home in OT to the Clippers, 124-119. Curry and company now have to host the Grizzlies tomorrow night instead of getting 5 days off.
You have to take the positives of where we were 2 months ago and know our season isn't over. So we would have loved to have, taken advantage of these last 4 games, and you have to be able to wash it down the drain quick.
The Dubs also
sounds tired.
Yeah, he's a terrible quote. Getting anything out of him in
Steph
these
Curry after all these years.
Everything is so slow and deliberate, and he clears his throat all the time. I don't know if it's on purpose, but it takes him 30 seconds to get one succinct thought out.
It's like Aaron Boone, man.
But then he also said, "I'm the petty king," which is an all-time great quote. So.
The Nuggets got the 4 seed after a 126.
I'm the petty king.
111 win in Houston. Those Clippers are the 5 seed. Then come the T-Wolves. Rest easy, Sixers fans. Head coach Nick Nurse and GM Daryl Morey are coming back despite this year's disaster. Philly has a 10.5% chance of winning the lottery.
That's an upset, no? Pearl?
What do you? Oh,
Nick
no.
Nurse and Daryl Morey coming back?
No, yeah, I hear what you're saying. I thought you meant that they had 10.5%. We're all so excited about this lottery. It feels like an overwhelming gift from the sports gods.
Whomst is we?
I mean, Nurse did his job. He won 13 straight, right? I lost 13 straight. Don't you think
Is that your job?
To execute a tank? Yeah, I think you get some credit. I think the front office said, "Hey, if you do this, we'll bring you back." That's the way it should be in the NFL. That's why the NFL guys keep screwing up their tanks.
That I agree with.
Yeah. So it was a promise was made. Don't you think?
Promises made, promises kept.
No, honestly, don't you think
I
Nick
just don't
Nurse
know if
deserves to
either
get
of
back
these
to them?
guys. I don't. Does Daryl Morey deserve to keep his job?
He's a little dicier, but I think Nurse definitely keeps it.
I mean, I think Maxi's a fine contract, but the Embiid contract and the Paul George contract are just god awful.
2 of the worst in the NBA.
I mean, maybe the Jared McCain draft pick helps you, but then he got hurt.
Don't you think most people would have done the Embiid contract? You think?
No.
Yeah.
No, you don't think a lot of.
I don't know.
But what was the alternative? Just try to trade him for nothing, or 10 cents on the dollar?
I think
He
he's
had
not.
years left.
He has another year left on the deal. I think I would have waited till this year, maybe.
I would have waited for him to ask
that's
for a
so-
trade and been
so
like, "Whew,
weird.
I'm off the hook."
I just don't remember that take before Embiid signed his contract. But okay, go ahead.
Before his 15th knee injury.
This question's not for the giggle squad to my left here. Any judgment on Mikal Bridges playing for 6 seconds yesterday and fouling off the opening tip to
Thought the
continue?
foul was a little aggressive, by the way. What was that about? I was
You gotta
like, he's
leave
trying
no
to
doubt.
start a fight.
It is his old team. He probably doesn't like him much.
He doesn't know that guy who had the ball for the Nets.
That's true.
He's got no thoughts on that dude.
Do the players on the Brooklyn Nets know who that player was?
Probably not. Well, from the G League, yes.
Fans know.
Fans definitely know.
He's done this once before, at least as a net, too. So I guess the argument for him is that this year he has played the Knicks into position where yesterday didn't matter, so he's allowed to.
I had no problem with it. Yeah.
I don't either. I
Yeah.
just wanted to see if I could rile up a Knicks fan or two.
There was someone in the NFL did this too, right?
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen, yeah.
Played for one snap to keep the consecutive
For some reason in
start
football,
streak.
and I swear this is not a Knicks thing. For some reason in football, that bothered me more. 'Cause I think there's a lot more risk on your body to actually play a game.
Yeah.
I know
Wow.
there's risk in the NBA, but I don't know. Something about that was like, well, that you didn't really play.
Is he the NBA leader right now in consecutive games?
Yes.
Yes.
He's Iron
what,
Man.
14?
That's Joel Embiid's record.
Iron Man. What's his streak at?
It's like years long.
Like at
It's
600
hundreds.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
He never load manages?
No. He has never missed
weird.
a game in his career. if I'm not
That'll
mistaken.
come back to bite them in the playoffs.
Well,
Oh, at least the Knicks are in the playoffs.
We'll see.
How the Sixers doing?
Pete Crow Armstrong,
There you
2
go.
solo
Former
homers
Met prospect
in
right
the Cubs 4-2
Hey.
win at Dodger Stadium last night. Those Dodgers have now lost 5-7. And the Winnipeg Jets lost to the Oilers last night 4-1, but clinched the President's Trophy for the league's best record when the Caps lost to the Blue Jackets. The bad news there is it has been more than 10 years since the team with the best record went on to win the Stanley Cup. Guys, I'm done.
Bogusch, thank you so much for that. Fantastic job. Yeah, I mean, listen, NBA playoffs, I'm excited about it. Sort of.
Sounds like it.
Oh, my God. The NBA playoffs has been about 2 months of garbage we've had to sift through in the NBA to get to this moment.
Well, we've been talking about these seasons are just way too long, but there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah.
Let's update some poll questions for you. How about this one? Do you believe fans who say they got emotional watching Rory win yesterday? Yes, it was dramatic. No, they're exaggerating. Yes, won 65%, or is winning 65%. So Perloff thinking everyone who was faking it because they said they got emotional about Rory.
I didn't
You've
say
been proven
everyone,
wrong.
but I do feel like all of a sudden there were a lot of lifelong Rory fans that I did not know were Rory
Like
fans.
EJ?
Lifelong fans to appreciate a good moment.
And then who would a first-round playoff exit be more devastating for, Lakers or Warriors? Pearl, you're correct on this. Lakers, 81%, more pressure on them.
It's a function of being the Lakers.
Yeah, and I would push back on it just because I think that we'll explain away, like, oh, Luka just got there, and Luka needs to get in shape, and Luka, and
I
he
think
and LeBron will be better next year.
I think it's the time frame on LeBron. It's at LeBron age. I mean, I know you think it's not a real number, and it makes no sense.
It's not.
I do think it can't last forever. I mean, at a certain point, he has slowed down. You will give me that. Luka helps him because he can, I think EJ brought this up. LeBron can mail in the first part of a game and then come up in the fourth quarter, but he's definitely slowing down.
Well, I think he also is kind of being strategic. Like he took off. His injury this year was what, 2.5 weeks?
No, his annual groin injury at the end of the season.
I'm just saying, like he kind of takes some time. Like he load manages himself, and they're better off for it.
Yeah, I just think that it's got to be this year or next year for LeBron, and this year is as good as a chance because the Thunder are not getting any worse. They're going to be even better next year. They're really young. I think there's a lot of pressure to do it. I think they have a good chance. You think they have either of those teams have a chance?
Yeah, because we've seen for the Warriors at least the championship pedigree. I mean, playoff Jimmy is a real thing. Now he's with a better team.
I feel like the Lakers have an easy path to the conference finals. Then they run into the Thunder.
Oh, I don't know. I think the T-Wolves are going to be a thing.
If they get past the T-Wolves.
By the way, I wasn't here
And the Rockets.
when Mark Malone got fired. That was crazy.
Who in the heck is Mark Malone?
Backup quarterback
Mike
Steelers.
Malone, I mean.
Michael.
There you go.
Michael.
Welcome back, Maggie.
Who is Mark Malone?
Backup quarterback Steelers. Awesome. Sirius XM NFL Radio.
All right, I'm going to see myself out. Thank you, EJ Stewart. Thank you to Manny Rodriguez, Andrew Bogusch, Andrew Kaplan, the Weedos.
You're in a 5-minute break.